Last summer we laid in the park, 80 degrees by the time it gets dark. My head on your shoulder, I'm around mine. Racing you down to the edge of the water, the way your tattoos look under your collar. I'm not gonna worry, we're passing the time. And the hardest days are going fast, and I know that nothing ever lasts, 'cause it feels like we're both where we're supposed to be. Windows down, driving slow while you're kissing me, but I know I'm gonna crash. City's made for losing you, falling, finding someone new. But call me at 2 in the morning to say you're feeling too. City's made for losing you, but fighting and for getting through. Coming over at 3 in the morning because you feel too. Cause you feel too. All weekend we on the phone. You say that you wanna move home. I think maybe you were never mine. We're racing around like the world's gonna end, but are we gonna break when we're trying to bend? But when you show up and say everything's fine. And the hardest days are going fast, and I know that nothing ever lasts, 'cause feels like we're not where we're supposed to be. Wanna drive like
Hello and welcome into the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. Tonight we're doing things a little bit differently, and we're kinda gonna put the sport in esport. I am Michael Fisher here to change things up because we're gonna have some Madden football action coming your way. We just learned about it, and we figured why not add another esport to our repertoire. So it's gonna be a great night here. We're gonna kick things off with the Fall Madden 2020 Cup. I am going to be casting alongside a former Bronco, Chase Baker, as well. We see there Doc Holiday Williams representing Boise State. He's got a pair of games tonight. First, he'll be taking on Cal Poly. Then we'll have a little bit of a Mountain West matchup, and he'll be taking on Fresno State. But I'm incredibly excited to see this long-time video game come to the esports world. There is Chase Baker, former Bronco, former NFL player, joining us here. Chase, are you excited to watch some Madden tonight?
Yeah, man, I've heard nothing but good things about Wasey. Heard he's killing it, and look forward to him continuing it tonight.
Any team recommendations for him? What team would you tell him to pick in Madden right now if he wants to win?
You know, I got to go with my Vikings, but, it's okay. If he goes with Green Bay, I won't hold them against him as long as he represents Boise State. We're good.
Hey, man, you go with the Vikings. You put in Alexander Madison, who's had a couple of great games, and then you could have the Boise State connection there. But, yeah, there's a bunch of great teams. The other good thing, if you did watch the football game earlier today, there are no COVID restrictions in this game. So if he picks the Ravens, he actually gets to use Lamar Jackson. He won't be stuck with RG3 and a ragtag team. So there's a ton of options for him. I'm really curious to see what he picks and what we're going to gather, because I know I'm an OG Madden player. I remember the Michael Vick days of you just roll out and you either just throw a bomb or you run it 70 yards. I mean, Lamar Jackson, I've heard people say in this game, is shades of OG Vick. So I think the Ravens aren't a bad choice either.
Yeah, I've heard the same. But like I said, I'm just excited to learn from this guy, man. I've heard this is the guy I need to learn from. So I'm going to be taking notes and cheering him on, and however I can help out, I'm here.
Curious to see where he wants to pick. Like I said, we have 2 games tonight. He's going to be taking on Cal Poly first, then he'll take on Fresno State. Fish and Chase Baker, former Bronco, former Viking. Going to be calling all of our Madden action, and it looks like, I mean, if you're going to take him, why not? The defending Super Bowl champions. Look like he's going to take the Chiefs here.
It's a solid pick there.
Yeah, I mean, there's not anyone better offensively in this game than Patrick Mahomes in real life or in Madden. As you can see from the defensive ratings, not the strongest overall defense. And I don't know if he's putting the Honey Badger in as a linebacker. I was like, you're going to bench Tyrann Mathieu, but he's putting him in as a slot corner, it looks like. He's doing a lot of things. We were told beforehand, he gets all crazy with the amount of changes he makes.
Yeah, he adjusts, and I'm sure he confuses people, and he's going to come at him.
Yeah, cannot wait to see who his opponent's going to be, how they want to match up against what could be Kansas City. We saw him at least editing the depth chart for Kansas City. Have to see. Does also
Green Bay on there.
Yeah, we see Green Bay as well. I mean, clearly he likes his big arm quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes can make throws on the run. So, going to be curious to see what he wants to pick. As we said, he's going to take on Cal Poly first, and then he'll have a little bit of a Mountain West showdown. He'll be taking on Fresno State in our second game of the night here in our Fall Madden 2020 Cup. Fish and Chase Baker here on the action that should be starting very, very soon.
Cool. So, have you got to watch him play? What have you seen from Wasey so far?
I've seen just a little bit of it. I walked in and I was like, wait, when did we get a Madden team? And they're like, Wasey just messaged us and he's like, hey, I know I'm in this Madden tournament. You guys do esports? Can I just hop in? So this is the first time I've seen him in an official game. I've seen some highlights. So I'm really curious, just like you are, to see the adjustments he makes and what team he wants to play and what his style is, because there's so many styles in Madden from someone who's played online. You know, you have the grinded out guys, the guys who think they can just win on defense and they'll do just enough on offense. So I'm going to be just like you, Chase, and learning a lot of what he wants to do on the fly and learning from him so I can improve my own game.
Definitely. Exactly. That's what I'm here for, is to get better myself.
There, Boise State and Cal Poly is our first matchup in our 2020 Fall Madden Challenge of the night. We should have a second game as well between the Broncos and Fresno State, so it should be fun to get a little bit of a Mountain West action going there. It's such a new game, we don't even have Doc's keys to how to win at Madden. It's score more points than the other team would be my number one recommendation. So we'll see if Wasey could follow that to a T. It's all brought to you by Count, who's at NHS Global Network, helps you stay safe online, especially during the holiday season. So go check them out at count.com, KOUNT.com. Fish and Chase Baker getting ready to call Fall Madden here. Both of us ready to learn from Wasey and what he wants to do. Doc was telling us, hey, he's going to make a ton of adjustments on the fly, so it's going to be really interesting to see if maybe he falls down early and then figures out his opponent and maybe has a huge second half. That's sort of maybe what I'm thinking might happen.
And so are we going against one of the champions from Cal Poly? Is that how this matchup's looking?
Yeah, it looks like Cal Poly also has their own team, so probably I guess a single player. And yeah, so we're going against Cal Poly's best and then Fresno State's best, which as a former Bronco, I'm sure you could admit, beating Cal Poly's okay. You really want to make sure you beat Fresno State.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't want to have conference bragging rights of, oh, hey, we're in the same conference and be better at Madden. No. Don't want that to happen at all. So I hope he beats both, but I want him to beat Fresno State for sure.
Exactly. We'll have the Fresno guy have to hold up a Boise State flag. Hopefully
there
he
we
stays
go.
there for the whole 4 years.
Yeah, there we go. That's what I like to see.
Yeah, Derek Carr, his brother made him put up a Boise flag. And he almost had to keep it up forever, but he got that win his senior year. So.
Oh, man. It looks like every campus had a tournament, and so every campus champion, as you sort of hinted to, Chase, is who they're playing. So Wasey, the Boise State champion, he'll be taking on the Cal Poly champion, and then the Fresno State champion. So you know you're getting the best of the best from each school, and not just some guys like, hey, I'll play for the Madden team, sure, put me in. I've never picked up a controller, so I'm really excited to see what Wasey wants to pull out. Just waiting for him. It looks like his opponent to get ready.
Perfect.
Really, I want to see him use the Chiefs because I think that, there's no reason not to use Patrick Mahomes if he's available to, because he does things in real life that you're like, okay, you should only be able to do that in Madden. And even you can't do some of the things he does in real life in Madden either.
Right. The video game can't even keep up with him.
Exactly. I don't think there's a button yet to throw with your opposite hand or throw when you're not even looking at the receiver. So maybe they'll add them just because of him.
Got to develop somehow. So there we go. Just look at Patrick. He'll figure it out. He'll tell you what to do next.
Well, we do wait for the game to get going. Chase, of course, we said you are a former Bronco. Is Madden or one of the games that you guys played in the locker room, is that one of those sports games that was played, or was it more of like the Halo Call of Duties that the guys played?
So Madden came and went. It depended. For me, it was probably every couple of years I bought the game, and I enjoyed it. But yeah, it was a Call of Duty for me. Going from 6-7 hours of football to sit and relax and play more football just wasn't the way. But you still enjoyed it, and especially in the off season. I think that's where it came up more.
Were you a big FIFA guy at all? I know I've heard, like, 'cause more current athletes, they're big into FIFA. I know Jay Ajayi, he's big into the FIFA game. Were you big into FIFA, or anyone else on your team big into FIFA?
Yeah, I think FIFA's huge. I loved it. It's been about 2 years since I got the most recent one, but I'm looking like I might have to go get the new one.
Now, I've heard that from what I've experienced, it's Call of Duty, it's Halo, and then it's FIFA. That's what the football guys always love to play. I mean, and you make sense. You know, you don't want to practice for 6 hours, then come home and be like, hey, you want to chill out and play more football? Like, no, I would like to get away from that for at least a little bit.
Exactly. You got to change it up. Get away from it. It's a distraction. It's something to just clear your mind. And so Call of Duty was always mine. I know a lot of teammates, college, high school, pro. That's pretty much my base of guys that play Call of Duty.
I can't blame you. I love Call of Duty myself. It's one of those. It's a nice, relaxing game, and you know, it's just really fun, and it's really simple. You don't have to think too much. In Madden, it's like, okay, you know, is he blitzing? What is he doing? And in Call of Duty, it's like aim down, shoot at the guy, boom. All right, let's go on to the next guy. So very relaxing.
Levels. There's levels to the games, and
exactly.
So you know, there's only a couple levels deep on the Call of Duty. And then Madden's a little deeper, and then some of those ARPG games that gets insane. A little too much for me.
Yeah, there's games I look. I'm like, no, you can have fun doing that. I'm gonna stick to Call of Duty and some Madden. So as you said, it's the Fall Madden Cup here. We've got Wasey representing Boise State. He's taking on Cal Poly. We've got Fish. We've got Chase Baker, former Bronco, former Viking, going to be calling all of the action. We're both first time seeing Wasey in a game. We're really looking forward to see what he's got here, so I'm just waiting to see what his opponent. I will say, while we wait, I was told that you carried Doc to a victory in Warzone the other day.
Hey, did he let you know that? Yeah. Me and it was really cool, man. It was one of the first times we got to play together, and it was with his son. And yeah, I think we played 2 games. We got the dub.
Nice. Now, I'm assuming you did all the heavy lifting there. I'm assuming it was just all you.
I did my fair share.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was saying, you can take credit. You're the one with the microphone. Doc doesn't have a microphone that he can hear us on, so he would have to.
Doc holds his own. I'm just going to say that. Doc and his son held his own. It was a good game.
All right. He plays a ton of Warzone. I always see him on, and he's playing with a bunch of different people, and I'm like, hey, more power to you, man. Warzone is a crazy game. See, Doc, he's giving us a stare down. Hey, we said you did your fair share, Doc. He gave you your props. He said you did your fair share. That's all that matters.
I wish we could go back. Did we record that game, Doc? Should be somewhere.
Run that game back. Hey, I mean, if you get a Warzone victory, more power to you. So it actually looks like getting ready to go into the game, and maybe the Packers. I mean, you even hinted at it. You said, you know, you're a Vikings guy, so you prefer the Vikings. But if he goes with Green Bay, no problem. And it looks like for now he's maybe hovering on the Packers. Don't know what his opponent picked or if his opponent's in the game yet, but.
Yeah, that's what I heard he played previous games with. So that's what I kind of figured, you know, he was sticking with what he got the dubs with.
And we did see him editing the Chiefs depth chart earlier, moving some guys around. Don't know if he maybe thought that the Chiefs might be a good matchup, but there's no shame in Green Bay about the only downside to the Packers in real life is when Devontae Adams is hurt. They don't have a lot of guys to throw to. Again, it's Madden. Everybody's always healthy, so you don't have to worry about that.
Exactly. And we got another Boise guy in there. Billy still rocking, and so
that's right.
Maybe we'll see him on D-line. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe we can get him in. It does look like it's 5-minute quarters, so it's going to be pretty fast-paced, probably 2 or 3 possessions per half, maybe, depending on how they want to run offensively and how quick they want to go. So I'll be really curious to see what his opponent to pick because the Packers are pretty dang good in real life, and that usually translates pretty well into Madden. The good teams in real life, usually the pretty good teams in Madden, so the Packers are never a bad choice.
Yeah, they'll be all right.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers can't get hurt in Madden as well, so I'll be really curious to see what his opponent wants to bring out and who he's going to be going against. As you said, you've heard he's played the Packers a lot, a really, really strong team, the Rodgers and Devontae Adams combination. Incredibly strong. So we've got the 2020 Fall Madden Cup, just waiting for his opponent from Cal Poly, who was the campus champion there, to take him on. Of course, Wasey was our Boise State campus champion, and I'm really excited to see this first game go down and really start to pick apart his brain because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah,
definitely. Maybe it'll lead to Boise State having their own Madden team or Madden player. That'd be pretty awesome.
Well, it looks like, we're going to get to the preferred game of the night. Let's just say it that way. I don't want to disrespect Cal Poly. Maybe their player might be having some issues. We're going to jump right to the Fresno State game, actually, which is the Mountain West matchup that I think you and I both wanted to see for conference bragging rights. So this one means even more. We're going to hop right into the game. Looks like he's taking on Seattle and Russell Wilson with a nice little screen pass there that he easily read.
All right. So we got Russell versus Aaron. Let's go.
These teams have met quite a lot, and every time it has ended in just spectacular fashion.
It's always crazy. Always comes down to last possession. You got some crazy Hail Marys or some wild defensive play that ends it. But, yeah, it's always a solid game.
Doc told us about this. Wasey's got to go through a ton of menus. Looks like he's bringing out dime coverage here on 3rd and long. Got to watch out for DK Metcalf. Dude is huge.
Yep. He felt disrespected because they said he wasn't quite to Megatron, but I think they were giving him props because he's on his way, man. He's filling those shoes pretty well.
Yeah, well, he's got a great quarterback and a nice interception.
Hey. Came down with it. Let's go.
Oh no, doesn't look like it. I thought he had it, but he'll just take potentially the punt. His opponent also looks like he might be going for it. He is going to go for it, actually. So this could be huge. You get the turnover here. You get the ball inside the opponent 30.
He likes to play with those safeties.
Oh, he read it right. Oh, I thought he had Lockett there, but that's huge. That's the first. That's ball inside your opponent's 30. He could just score in a couple plays here.
Yeah, man. I don't know why he went for it, but I'm good with it. Let's go. Crush him.
That's the one thing I have noticed when I played Madden is punting seems to be highly optional at all times because, you can get a first down. You're not paid. You're not going to lose your job by going for it on 4th down. And I expect him to go for a shot to Adams here. Had him on the option route on the left side.
Right off the bat. There it is. Oh, I thought he was going for it. Lazard. Okay.
A nice little check down. Didn't see what his opponent was running. You mentioned Wasey loved that safety. Tried to usually double the primary. I want to see what his opponent's going to go with in terms of controlled player. Defensive lineman.
There's Devontae. They even had him doubled. Yeah, they even had him doubled. Touchdown.
Yeah, that seems. I'm curious. I mean, I think safety and even the linebacker, depending on how talented a guy maybe like a Bobby Wagner, those are the high-impact guys you can make plays on. I mean, looked like his opponent took a defensive end and tried to drop him across the field. I don't think that's going to be the right play, and looks like he might be going for like a little squib kick here. At least a pooch kick.
Put it up in the air. Yeah. Maybe trying to get the hit and force a fumble on a guy that's not used to carrying it. I'm not sure there.
I mean, yeah, his opponent looks like he gave himself up, so maybe thought the up back might just have bad carrying rating and might just fumble it. So I like the play, and right away back on defense, and a huge. Oh, I thought he caught it. His defense is incredible.
Yeah, or maybe it's just lazy.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's right now not giving up any yards to the Seahawks player who, the Seahawks are a very powerful team, and he's kept Russell Wilson in check, but as most teams have learned, you can only do that for so long.
Yeah, he'll get his eventually.
Nice throw to Metcalf on the crossing route there.
He's run that play already a few times now.
Have we seen
Wasey? Look at him, he flies through those plays, huh?
It's like he's got this whole, you of course know about memorizing the playbook. He's got this whole defensive playbook memorized already. He's flying through the plays and knows exactly what he wants to pick. It's kind of crazy.
Oh, nice. Yeah, man, couldn't get the edge. I thought he was going to have it right there. I thought he was going to get a couple yards, but nothing.
He loves that nickel formation, usually pretty good against the pass, the 5 defensive backs. Ooh. Sold out on that one. He went for it all. Yeah. Couldn't quite get there.
Hit right where he took his backer away from, but it happens.
First time we've seen him struggle. We dropped right in and he got 4 and out. Seahawks player is finally making some progress. He's at least at the 45-yard line.
Rolls out.
Oh! What
Touchdown.
a pick! He's gone.
Pick 6. Oh, yeah, he's got it.
Yeah, never throw late across the body. Any high school quarterback will tell you that. Brett Favre will remind you not to do that. Never throw late across the body.
Yeah, is that still considered the rule in Madden as well?
Yeah. Madden has done
Fair
a really
enough.
good job of trying to emulate. If it wouldn't work in real life, it's not going to work in the video game. You can't sprint 30 yards back and then throw a Hail Mary. They've done a really good job of removing the cheese a little bit out of the game. I really appreciate about that.
Remember Madden like 04, 05, where you could just run back and forth and eventually work your way up? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you used to be able to just run circles around guys for 10 minutes. And so they've done a really good job of making it at least a little bit realistic. Oh, wait, this time he got the edge a little bit up for Carson. Nice 5-yard gain.
Staying in nickel.
Yeah, he's staying in. He likes the nickel. It's Boise State, Fresno State here. Madden Fall Cup. Fish and former Bronco Chase Baker here calling the action. And now we're going to have a pretty big third down already for our Fresno State player using the Seattle Seahawks. I would assume he'll go for it if he doesn't get it.
Yeah.
We've already seen him pretty aggressive in the game.
Especially within 1 yard. See if we can stop him, though.
Play action there. Ooh.
Yeah.
Only
Yeah, both
solo
of those guys.
And that's the one issue with guys like Russell Wilson or Lamar Jackson in Madden is as soon as you roll out, your computer defenders will say, oh, I need to go in and stop him from running, and that usually leaves the wide receivers wide open.
Yeah. Here it is. Same thing. Ooh.
It's a little stop. Still has to get the last 30 yards. 5-minute quarter, so first quarter's running down.
He's got to score.
He's already down 2 touchdowns, and he got the ball to start the game, so Seahawks player's got to score here if he wants to keep up with Wasey.
Threw it away. Smart.
He learned from that pick 6. Just throw it away at the very end. He's done a lot of 2 receiver sets. Looks like he's got 3 this time, but he's relied a lot on Metcalf. I think he's the only guy who's really caught a ball so far. Oh, nice run.
There's the first.
You can see with Wasey on the linebacker, the Seahawks player is doing a really good job keeping him off balance. He thought that was a pass and bailed on the open gap he was supposed to be covering. I mean, it's a great job using the play action and keeping Wasey on his toes with his self-controlled linebacker.
Yeah. He brought that safety down and was playing him as the mic in that nickel package. Interesting. Oh, there we go.
Did he get him?
4th down.
Nope, they gave it to him, unfortunately. I thought that felt close. Nice defense there. He's done a really good job defending those Russell Wilson rollouts and not allowed him to just run for 20, 30 yards.
Yeah, he's trying to buy that time just so one of those crossing routes gets open, but he's doing a good job.
Got Metcalf in the middle, but a nice sack that time. He always knows exactly what play he wants to call. It's really incredible. He's already got it ready to go. He's just waiting on the offense to make a call.
Yeah, I thought I was going to learn something. It's too fast to even know what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, he just automatically has a play in mind, and they all seem to work pretty well.
Preston Smith. Oh, no. Yeah, I was just saying.
Play action on 3rd and 17, probably not the right call.
Gonna kick it, just get some points.
Yeah. Last time, 4th and 23 from the 33, probably not a great decision. So, yeah, I like the idea, get some points. We haven't seen Wasey with a full possession yet, so maybe the Seahawks player has more confidence in his full field defense.
True.
I mean, he got it at the 26-yard line. That's going to be almost impossible to defend. This is what I want to see. Let's see how his offense is designed.
Yeah, he's going deep right off the bat, huh? Okay.
I think his opponent was in the same place you were. I think he's like, all right, he's going to go deep, and that was a nice little audible. Get on the running play, nice 8 yards. Already in the milk clock mode, taking it all the way down to 5 seconds before he snaps it.
There it is.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah, man. Wazy's just toying with him.
I mean, that was perfect. But I thought he was actually going to get a delay of game. He barely got that snap off. And he's just content kind of running the clock out. You know, he's already knows he's up 2 scores, and he's going to get the ball back. Flips the bunch formation and just going to run the ball. So the Seahawks defense probably feels like a defense that's better in Madden than we've seen so far this year. So I think that's going to be one advantage for our Fresno State player.
Take it down. Got a minute to score.
He might just be settling for a field goal. He's been running a lot of time off. Still has all 3 timeouts as well.
Yep. That might be the time to take it right there. Spiked it.
All right.
He's not worried about the first. He'll get it right here.
Yeah, he's like, I don't need extra. Who needs timeouts?
Touchdown. Nope. I thought he was going wide. That crosser out in the back of the end zone.
Oh. That was a good patience. That was a really patient play by him. He waited for the tight end to release, and nobody covered him. And now he's got multiple chances here within the 15-yard line. Oh, what a throw.
Man. Beautiful.
That was, I mean, I was like, that's kind of risky, but he put it perfectly. I mean, having Aaron Rodgers helps. And now he's up 21-3, and the way he's been playing defense, I don't think the Fresno State player is going to score here to end the half.
Nah, and if he even tries, I mean, I don't even know if it's worth trying. I think he tries to come back and just play that second half, but he's probably going to throw something deep.
Oh, yeah, he's got to try, I would think, at least once. Wasey's going to get the ball.
Too quick of a game.
Wasey's going to get the ball in the second half. I mean, this game could be over in one possession if it goes 28-3.
Check it backer. Under 10. Under 10. 10. Four down. Check 15. Check 15.
Under center. Maybe he's just going to run the clock out. Oh, man. Nothing.
You can call a timeout right there? Nah. I was saying, is there a 21 skunk rule? Nah, he already got 3.
Yeah, there might be a maybe 28, maybe 25-point rule. It's the Fall Madden Challenge. Boise State, we have our campus champion, Wasey Duck Holiday Williams, taking on Fresno State. Their campus champion, holding it down, making sure Boise State does not lose in conference. It's Fish and Chase Baker on the call. We're going right to the second half. Greatest thing about Madden, no halftime show. We skip right to the second half. And he has a chance to put this game away, honestly.
Yeah, it could be over this first possession.
Maybe he might get a kick return here. Nope. No, doesn't want to risk it.
Yeah, this is what I heard. This is when we were learning a little background on ways. They said he's just been thrashing people. So we got a good one, man.
Does look like I know Madden in recent years added the whole superstar thing. It looks like, from what I can tell, for Aaron Rodgers, can't be picked off by computer defenders, which means the Seahawks player, the guy who the actual player is going to have to make a pick here, or Aaron Rodgers is just going to pick you apart down the field.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they definitely added it last year where, you know, the superstars have their big abilities, and Aaron Rodgers, of course, one of the superstars. So it's going to be a lot harder to get a turnover now if you're the Fresno State player. Almost impossible at this point.
Now he's just going to run it too, huh?
Oh, yeah,
he was working out a bunch the whole first half. Now he's putting on those tight ends up at the line and just going to run it.
Yep, bleeding clock off. No point to make any sort of silly mistake. It's only 5-minute quarters. You can get enough first downs. You can bleed off an entire quarter in one possession. Oh, just ran into the guy on the lineman there.
Yeah, he had a small hole. That was always the most frustrating part, was you see the hole and you just barely miss it by an inch and they get it and you're like, nah, that should have been a touchdown.
Exactly. I was through there. What do you mean that guy grabbed me? But you go back to the gun on third down, though. Oh. All right.
Is he going to punt it? No?
Nah.
Oh, it's only third.
No, it's fourth down. He's going to go for it.
I got to move my thing right here. We got to move that down so I can see all of this.
Yeah, I mean, why not? You're up 3 scores at this point. You can afford to give one back if you want.
Nah, not to Fresno.
Just got to crush him. That's why he's going
Run
for
it
it.
up.
Just doesn't want to give him the ball back.
Exactly.
Oh, he's wide open. How about, 30 yards on 4th and 5?
Works for me. Yeah, man. That's how we treated them back in the day. Those scores. If you look back in those 4 years we played, it was all, 60-5, 60-7. It was ridiculous scores, but we had a blast, man. They were still considered a rival, and so there was no love lost, man. We were coming for them.
Yeah, I mean, when you look back at your rival, I mean, for Boise State, of course, it shifted from Idaho, and then you mentioned Fresno State. I know Nevada or UNR, depending on how you want to refer to them. I've seen some people on the football team insist on calling them UNR just to spite them. They run up the score on them as much as they can, and for good measure. It's a rivalry game. You don't want to lose by so much, get better.
I think BYU is probably the closest thing we have to a rival these days.
Yeah, I know that's the only annual series. Mountain West scheduling kind of ruined the Nevada-Fresno State rivalry. So, yeah, BYU is probably our closest. And unfortunately, those games are so close, there's no chance to ever run up the score.
Not this year. This year, that was a rough one for us this year, but we'll get back at it.
Third down. No, great throw to Adams. And he's just going to be content milking some clock, but I think he still wants to score. He still wants to make sure that it's put away. It's almost run off the whole quarter here.
54 is Mike. 54 is Mike. Check. Watch 54. Watch 54.
Oh, great blocking.
Yeah.
He's just trying. I think he was going to give himself up. He doesn't even want to score. He just wants to run the game out, maybe score at the very end to really stab one in the heart of Fresno State. But he has no intention of scoring anytime soon.
He's honestly out of control from the first series. You can tell how this was going to go, and he stuck with it.
You can see he already knew what. He was just going to let the quarter run out. So that's how he's already on his phone. He's like, hey, you know what? I've already wrapped this one up. Give me the next one.
He's just scrolling through Twitter right now, looking at his feed.
Exactly. He's like, who do I play next? What do they play? Well, sorry, Fresno. You guys maybe have a new campus champion.
Exactly. Let me close the door. The pups are barking.
Well, Chase go close that as we see Wasey close out this game. As we said, no intention of really doing anything, but just grinding out the clock. Doesn't want to do anything else too crazy. 3rd and 1. I'm sure he'll go for it if it's 4th down as well. He's just grinding this game to a halt. I guess he'll score.
Yeah, may as well.
Hard to give yourself up. 28-3. I think he's got this one in the bag, but you said it. We can't let Fresno State have a feel-good touchdown at the end. You want to make sure you shut him out.
Exactly.
Or as best you can. He did take the field goal to prevent the shutout at least.
Yeah, right at the half. Yep, it's okay.
This is the Fall Madden Cup. We're supposed to have 2 games today. We'll see if we can get a reschedule from our Cal Poly game that we were supposed to have earlier. But right now, Wasey maybe making the Cal Poly opponent reconsider connecting, because he is absolutely dominating Fresno State here. 28-3. Not even going to allow a return. He's got this figured out.
Yeah.
He loves that nickel formation. I think it was about 46% of his plays called in there. Oh! Had a wide open hole to get the running back. Of course, you can't blame him. Down by 25, you would not expect your opponent to just be running the ball. It's like his opponent has also realized that this is a lost cause. So he's just going to run the clock out. Nice little tip block there.
Yeah, man. At this point, what do you do if you're that guy? Like, this is the final, right? Like, there's nothing else to do. You just take it, lay down. I don't know.
I mean, I would at least go for it. Try and, you know, build some confidence, I guess. I mean, try and make the final score a little bit more respectable, but
yeah,
I would not be running.
Maybe just, you know, oops, lost connection. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Just like you had to go take care. Say, hey, the dog got out. I just had to let the computer run 2 plays in a row. Sorry, I'll be right back. See, I wouldn't run it at least. I would at least try and get a touchdown, especially against a team like Boise State, as you mentioned.
With that nickel, Amos at linebacker.
He's done a really good job with Amos. Look, yeah, another running play. Oh, nice juke though. Maybe his opponents realize he can only have success running the ball, because passing has been few and far between.
A lot slower march down the field.
Even after that big game, it's like, okay, maybe the Fresno State guy will speed it up. No, he's still content just running it out. Doesn't want to worry too much. Oh. Fumble.
Zach, fumble. You gonna get it? Let's see. Come on, Wazy. Oh, he's gonna deal it. All right. Good sport. I was gonna say, throw it up, man.
Yeah, throw one deep to Adams. No, I respect it.
All right, respectable.
Yeah. Good sportsmanship. He's already up by, multiple touchdowns. Can't blame him at all. So he handles his business here in the first game of the night. I'll be curious to see how he does against Cal Poly, because, you said it. You've heard he's been stomping guys, and, this was no different at all.
Not at all. This is, we got a good one. Wazy's going to be the guy to look for, huh?
Yeah, he's definitely been. I don't know what the Boise State campus tournament looked like, because this is the campus champion playing, and so I don't know how many guys he had to go against, but he is definitely incredibly impressive. 28-3, the Seahawks player for Fresno State didn't really even stand a chance besides one sort of lucky field goal after a huge bomb. So big shout out to Wasey for sort of dominating, and unfortunately for you and I, Chase, he just moves too fast that I don't know if we learned anything.
Not a thing, man. I have no idea what he was doing. And he made a lot of adjustments, had safeties playing linebackers. So, I didn't learn much. But I learned that he's a badass. We'll say that.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I'll see what kind of formations he wants to run. No, he's like, I already know what play I'm going to run. Just pick your play, Fresno State. I already have the counter. It doesn't even matter what you call. So he was incredibly impressive.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. He'd come out, you think he was running or throwing it deep, and he'd automatically audible into a run, hitting holes. It was great.
So we are unfortunately going to have to end our football coverage here. Looks like Cal Poly they probably saw that game, and they're like, oh, we need to reschedule. We have to practice a bunch more. So that's going to end it all. Unfortunately, we don't get our 2 games, but Chase, I'd love to do this again when we have an opportunity, because Wasey's killing it, and I love seeing Boise State win no matter what the competition is.
Absolutely. That's the whole goal, right? Esports is still competition. It's still, the sport. It's digital gladiators going at it. So, I appreciate your time, Fish. Love hanging out, and I'd love to be back on anytime you guys do this again.
Let's do it again. Chase Baker, former Bronco, former Viking, of course, had to root for the Packers there, but it was all for Boise State in the end. And that is going to wrap up our Madden coverage for the day. As we mentioned, our Cal Poly game, a reschedule, so hopefully we'll be able to cast that when the opportunity allows us. We are going to take a little bit of a break, but we are not done yet. We've got some Hearthstone up around the corner, so you don't want to go anywhere, but that wraps up our Madden coverage of the night. Big shout out to Chase Baker for joining us. It was a ton of fun, and I was like him. I was like, hey, let's learn some things from Wasey. Maybe I'll get better. But unfortunately, Wasey had everything just ready to go, and he looked like he was one step ahead of his opponent. So a victory for him, 28-3 over Fresno State, much to the happiness of Boise State fans. We'll take a quick break. We'll have some Hearthstone coming up later. That's going to wrap up Madden. And enjoy the break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Here in Idaho, we do things a little differently. First rule, camouflage never goes out of style. Next, always use fry sauce. I mean, why wouldn't you? Hold steady when out-of-state friends think you're from Iowa. We call it pop, not soda. We always put a lift on our pickups. And we always buckle up because we still have a lot we want to do, and I'm guessing you do too.
Legendary parts for legendary wins.
Growing up in Idaho, we have certain rules we live by. Hold steady when out-of-state friends think you're from Iowa. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your Guard adventure.
through the tunnel and it's danger. No lights, the dark entertainer. Clouds then puff, dissipate in the laser. We can glow sparks, enough art to blaze ya. Listen up, walking through the tunnel and it's danger. No lights, the dark entertainer. Clouds then puff, dissipate in the laser. We can glow sparks, enough art to blaze ya. Listen up.
Yeah, from the cradle to the urn. They tried to tell me exercise, but patience wait my turn. Big concern when these pagans finna learn. What adjourn. Paradigm shift, but people about to watch it burn. Man, a renegade. Vagrant to the core. Pollution at its peak. Watch your stage, you settle scores. Ignition level 20. Fuck a penny for your thoughts. For the many, not the few. 1% a thing of law. Evolution is solution. Greed, power, money, nothing more than an illusion. Delusion took its toll. Banks made the bed. Balance brought us jetty. Seven laid ahead. Politics ate itself. The people came to live. We're looking to the future like something's gotta give. People power.
Try to ignite the flame, keep it connected. The only one that they need, they should keep on protecting. They try to shut us down, but we keeping it stepping. Only the truest survive, only fighters record. I resonate deep in the roots under the surface. Imperfect seeking perfection in the dark and the night. I reign in your deepest nucleus, burning the purpose. Giving breath to your lungs, I'm forgotten the light.
Hello and welcome back into the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. We're now on to the Hearthstone portion of the night, our Hearthstone's All-Star event. I'm still Michael Fish Fisher, going to be joined alongside by Jacob Gem Mountain Palmer, who's going to be making his appearance here today to talk some Hearthstone with me. We've got our Hearthstone All-Stars event with Randolph-Macon College taking on the University of Jamestown, with some directors taking each other on here. Having a little bit of fun with the seasons for most of the sport of the esports wrapping up. Of course, we've seen the championships or the playoffs for Boise State's teams end before Thanksgiving break, so now it's time for the directors to take over and maybe show their students a thing or two, but all of it, of course, it's just going to be for some fun and for a really good cause that we'll get into later on in the night. But for now, let's head over to Gem Mountain, who we've been talking about it before. With the new expansion out, the game has gone forward but also gone backwards, with the old gods coming back with a little bit of changes, to say the least.
Yeah, Dark Moon Fair has been a great expansion in terms of theming. I love kind of the dark, twisted carnival theming. The old gods are back. But in terms of what is new, you kind of hit the nail on the head. In fact, what is new is kind of what is old in this meta, because a lot of the top decks that we saw in Scalomance Academy are still reigning supreme. We've still got Aggro Demon Hunter being on top. We've still got Face Hunter and Highlander Hunter, which have been mainstays in the meta for the past year or so. So it's really just kind of been a thing of adding a few of the best new cards from this expansion to the existing good decks, and that's taken them to the next level.
Yeah, I was looking at Highlander Hunter today, one of my favorite classes, and I was looking at the list, and I was like, this is just Aggro Hunter, and they just threw in Daimotan or Bran, at least for the top decks. I mean, it really is. Everything costs less than 4. You throw in Bran, you're like, hey, here's King Crush to finish the game off for me. So, yeah, it's super meta, super aggro, as you said, but I will say, the one deck that, I don't know if we'll see it, it's incredibly strong, that I'm really impressed is still around, is Pure Paladin.
Yes.
I thought that would be a meme. Paladin's the class that has had a million archetypes. Every expansion, it's like, hey, you got Odd Paladin. Then you had Travala Paladin. You had Uther Paladin. I mean, it really was every expansion. You was like, okay, what do we do with Paladin? I'm really impressed that what I think should have been called Paladin instead of Pure Paladin has survived this long, and it's now the top-tier deck where it basically is just generate more cards than your opponent and generate decent Paladin cards who all are pretty strong.
Yeah, top deck currently in the meta, close to a 60% win rate, right? Even topping out the aggro decks in Demon Hunter and Hunter. The thing that makes Pure Paladin such a powerful force is the legendary that Paladin got in the Scalomance Academy, the 4 mana, which has the spell burst ability to cast a spell in your deck, targets itself if possible. And you think of the cards that Paladin has gotten in the recent expansions. You've got Libram of Hope, you've got the Give Your Minion 8/8. You know, that can lead to some incredible Sweeney turns on just 4 mana.
This is the Hearthstone NACE All-Star event. It's Randolph-Macon College taking on the University of Jamestown in our first matchup here. The directors going at it. Would have to think we might see Pure Paladin. And I mean, it really has sort of become the... It's not as bad as Wallet Warrior, but this has been the Wallet deck in a sense, because it needs, the legendary you mentioned. It needs Lady Leandrin. I mean, Urel is now also a card that's been added as well. So we're not going to see it here. We're going to get probably Aggro Demon Hunter, though Soul Demon Hunter, on the exact opposite end of the spectrum, by the way, is really, really strong.
And it looks like the other deck that's going to be up for us is going to be a Token Druid kind of variant. You do see one of the new cards there, Wriggling Horror. It's kind of a 2-mana version of Fungomancer, if you remember back to Kobolds and Catacombs, how that was such a Sweeney card at, 5 mana, give adjacent minions 2/2. This is 2 mana, give adjacent minions 1/1. So it fits a little bit more in that more aggro archetype. What the Demon Hunter is going to have to be worrying about here is not allowing Druid to have that board stick. That's the key thing about these token decks. Get the board to stick for 1 turn, and then use your Savage Roars to just go in for the kill.
Yeah, we do have Randolph-Macon on the bottom, Jamestown on the top, just so we are all familiar with who's on what side. And that is the one thing that the Demon Hunter will have a slight advantage over, is with the 1 mana hero power, they're going to be able to control the board against Token Druid, because usually it takes, your minions got to rest with turn before it can attack. Going second against Token Druid usually is a nightmare, but for the Demon Hunter, he at least has a decent way to clear early in the game.
I wouldn't just say it's a decent way. I'd say this is probably one of the best classes to go up against this type of board. Demon Hunter not just having the hero power, having all sorts of weapons, having so many rush minions and rush generating cards. One of the newest cards in this new expansion in Dark Moon is, I think it's a 6 mana summon run 7 1/1 minions with Rush, and if all of them die, then you get another 7 1/1 minions with Rush, so you can get 14 attack basically with Rush. So Demon Hunter just has always been a class that can very quickly deal with threats on the board.
Yeah, and then of course they also have the Demon Companion, ripoff of Animal Companion. And you mentioned it, this is going to be probably the best class to clear the board against Druid. And I will say, and I kind of scrolled through some of the top decks, like I said. I mean, I haven't been as big into Hearthstone as recently. I will say this Corrupt keyword feels like it might have missed the mark just a little bit in terms of strength maybe that Blizzard was hoping for, because it feels very, very eh.
Yeah, you don't see necessarily too many Corrupt. You know, overall this year, if you kind of look at all of the keywords, just in my personal opinion, I haven't been too thrilled with the keywords. You know, you have Outcast for Demon Hunter, which is obviously popular, but the Dormant one that was available for all classes, I don't necessarily like that keyword just as a base mechanic because it is so uninteractive. It's just like, oh, well, there's this effect that I know is going to go off in 2 turns, so it's basically I can't do anything provocatively to stop it. Spellburst is okay, you know, I don't mind it too much, you know, and then like you said, Corrupt, you know, it's just kind of like, you know, it's not the, you know, when I'm thinking back to keywords I love, like Magnetic, you know, which made mech such a powerful force,
yeah.
You know, this year has just been a little bit underwhelming for me in terms of the new keywords.
You know, this is the one thing that I think is always hard, especially for later expansions, is okay, well, we've got to give support to Spellburst still, but we also have to introduce a new keyword, and that's the one thing where I think Blizzard could maybe step back and say, hey, we don't need a new keyword every single expansion, because it's impossible to find support for Spellburst and still make Spellburst cards and then make Corrupt cards as well. Now, and I think that's where they kind of fall short.
Now I want to draw attention to this card here, Voracious Reader, which has been a huge godsend for aggro decks, you know, especially aggro decks. You know, I remember the old days when you could play Paladin and just, I think it was Divine Vision or the card that went to Hall of Fame that just lets you drew so many. Yep. And that's really the thing about aggro decks is you play all your cards, but you need to keep drawing cards. And we've had cards in the past that have kind of given aggro their get out of jail free ticket taken away from them. So now with Voracious Reader coming into the mix in Skullomance, you know, drawing up to 3 cards at the end of every turn, provided you have less than 3 cards, is really good for aggro decks, and it's really given them the shot in the arm to help them become such great decks. And this, I love this new legendary here that just got played.
Yeah, the Lore Keeper allows you to rearrange your whole deck, highest card to lowest card. I've been waiting for them to do something like that. I would have thought it would have been maybe more of like a quest, I mean, as opposed to just one minion. But I was waiting for something like mana cost, alphabetical. I would not be surprised if we don't get that coming very soon in some sort of meme legendary. It really is. I like some of the things they do. Blizzard is very, very creative at times, and then there's other. Sometimes they hit, and sometimes, like we talked about with Corrupt, they're kind of like, this is okay.
Yeah, no, this is going to be a very crucial turn right here. This is the crucial stick that comes up here because we've got 2 Power of the Wild cards available here, so he can just throw both of those down and just go ham on him next turn. Seeing he's already down to 18 health, it might be in range of lethal, I'm not quite sure, so he has to do everything he can here to clear off, and he's going to throw down the Voracious Reader, get some more cards in his hand. I think he'll probably just escape lethal here. He's down to 16. Yeah, he doesn't have lethal quite yet, but he's going to have to think of some way to clear this board, and fast.
I mean, he's 2 turns away, right, from just kind of having the Demon Hunter Fiesta with Skull of Gul'dan in the Outcast slot, plus the... trying to remember the name of it, the legendary that he has. It's upside down, so I can't read it either. Right. Where every time you play a card...
Outcast, yeah.
Yeah. Every time you play an Outcast card, it resets. I just don't know if he can live that long.
Yeah, that's the real problem here for him, and the Druid has so much down on the board that this is probably looking to me like, unless he draws just an amazing combo here, he's done. He only has 6 mana, so he can only play these 0 mana cards that he's gotten here.
Well, the weapon cleaves. He might be able to cleave down the board.
We'll have to
Nope.
see. Nope, because he would take damage. Even with the Outcast, that's just not going to be enough.
It was the Outcast. I thought it was Morrowbane. I was thinking of the Soul Demon Hunter weapon. I thought is what he had.
Well, he would have to have some sort of lifesteal to stick through this, but the Druid was just able to get the board to stick, and that's basically what you want. You know, I want to go back to, you know, that Lore Keeper Legendary that we were talking about a bit earlier, because Highlander Hunter is one of the decks where it really fits in, because the top mana card in that deck is Brawn, which summons your King Crush. So basically, it almost functions in a way as your Galakron Searcher. You know how basically the Searcher for Galakron, when Galakron's Awakening was such an important card, you basically have that card that is going to guaranteed get you that King Crush and can push you toward lethal, so making it more complete in that sense.
Yeah, I was wondering when Jamestown played the Lore Keeper what they were looking for in an aggro Demon Hunter. They wanted their Skull of Gul'dan, but drawing a Skull of Gul'dan and then guaranteeing that you're going to draw another Skull of Gul'dan isn't really the best strategy, in my opinion. So, I mean, he didn't really have much else in the hand, but I don't know if Lore Keeper fits in an aggro Demon Hunter deck besides just trying to find Skull of Gul'dan for more draw. But
and Fish, I'm having flashbacks right now to the beginning days of Ashes of Outland. We're in the Demon Hunter mirror. Nothing but that for the first couple of days before those emergency nerfs came through. And even with, I think, Demon Hunter's gotten hit 3 to 4 times in the past year, and it still manages to be at the top of the meta, just thanks to not only the powerful cards that it has, but as you've highlighted before, just that 1 mana hero power being so flexible.
Ooh, that was a huge misplay.
Yeah,
Wrong order. Chat would be spamming order right now.
Yep, that unfortunately is a big misplay. It happens to the best of us, you know. Sometimes you're looking at your whole turn and all the cards, but you know, it's like your middle school math, you know, order of operations, PEMDAS, or else you'll find yourself in a very bad situation. So unfortunate play there, allows so much tempo to go down on this lower Demon Hunter side here. Already having 2 of those hounds on the board, which are only going to keep laddering up in terms of power with every single attack that goes through. It's basically a game of catch-up right now.
Yeah, he has the Outcast weapon that'll allow him to clear next turn if he can. I'm surprised he didn't bump down the 2/2 so that he could clear with the Outcast weapon.
Well, the good news for him here is that he does have his hero power, so he is going to have a lot of flexibility in terms of what he can clear off. He's going to choose to clear off that 1/2 before it goes. Its spell burst ability drives it up to a higher attack. Use one of his hounds to just go face, and because again he attacked with his hero power, he's just going to use that, drive 7 damage to face, which puts this other Demon Hunter at such a disadvantage. Even with that Outcast ability now, this is just the pure demonstration of how important tempo is in the game of Hearthstone. If you don't get that board presence and get control and command of the board earlier, it's a perpetual game of catch-up for you.
Yeah, he is going to be able to clear both of the Dreadstalkers, so he'll at least get most of the power off. No. I don't know if he wanted to go face there.
Yeah, that's a bit of an odd choice there. I mean, I understand wanting to keep a minion, but even that, yeah, I actually don't see the value of that, because you've got this 3/1 on the board, which is going to get more powerful every single turn. It's just going to go face.
Yep.
You had your 1/2 on the board. Basically, you would be leaving the board in a 1/2 on your side and a 1/1 on the other side. And that isn't the worst. You know, the other player's obviously going to place some cards down, but it's a better board state than leaving your opponent's most powerful minion up on the board there for just some face damage. And face damage is not this other Demon Hunter's win condition here. His win condition is to stabilize, stop the other player's board from getting out of control, and then place down his Voracious Reader, get some new cards in his deck, because by leaving that minion on the field, he just took 4 more damage to face. It is now down to only 5 health.
Yeah, I guess maybe his logic was some sort of Twin Slice, Voracious Reader, Twin Slice, and burst him down, but unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. He thinks he's alive by 1. Spoiler alert, he's not. And I think that 4 damage might have mattered. Yeah, he would have been at 1. He would have been at 1 HP had he cleared the 3-1.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate there. Demon Hunter, you know, it's a lot like Rogue, and like you have to respect their ability to do damage from hand.
Yep.
You know, there are certain classes where with their general strengths and weaknesses, you know, you're going against Mage, you can think, okay, maybe I want to try to burst them down because Mage doesn't have healing. Or maybe you're going up against Demon Hunter and Rogue, you think, okay, I gotta have my health at a certain level because they have so many cards which can do burst damage from hand. It's just one of those things to take into account.
See a little bit about here. The NACE All-Star bringing coaches and directors from over 300 of the nation's best esports colleges and universities together for fun and fundraising. This year, the NACE Esports is supporting the American Cancer Society's Gamer vs. Cancer initiative. Different institutions will be competing in games and in fundraising. If you follow that link that you can see on your screen right there, you can even donate tonight to help out Boise State. Of course, we'll have the leaderboards throughout the multitude of events, as you can see right there. Looks like Stephens College right now just absolutely bringing it in. Over $1,000 already. We see there's another school at over $1,000, and Lindenwood is right at $900. So a lot of schools hopping on board here early. We're going to have a ton of these events throughout the coming week, so it's going to be a ton of fun. And, of course, as we saw, you can donate on the link right there. Just a quick update. Since I did get the deck list after we've jumped in Gem Mountain, it does look like Alex Gunderson, who's our bottom player, brought Hunter, Demon Hunter, Warlock, and it looks like Dylan Kiefer, who is our top player, brought Hunter, Demon Hunter, and Druid, with his Warrior being banned away. Don't have the ban for Gunderson, but I'll be curious to see what it is that our top player can find success with, because right now Randolph-Macon College is up 2-0 right now.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to be going for another mirror match, which is going to be Highlander Hunter, one of your favorite decks, one of my favorite decks as well. I absolutely adore this deck. It just has so much fun stuff going along with it. You know, setting down Bram and getting your King Crush is great as always. Although it has dropped Alex Straza, so, you know, I did like using her, but with the nerf that came through, just not as good to make the cut. She was probably one of my favorite cards to play in this deck. But decks continually evolve, and still always fun to see, though, your favorite archetype getting good representation.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was dark days for Hunters for several expansions before they were finally saved by, I believe, Spell Hunter is what finally brought them back. I will say, we do see the imprisoned Fellhound, probably the only non-Demon Hunter Dormant card that ever really saw any sort of play. I know the Mage one had some moments in Control Mage, but
and
for
the Paladin one in Murloc.
That's right. I mean, Murloc Paladin, you know, I like to forget that deck personally.
Well, it's interesting that you brought up, you know, Spell Hunter, because what really brought that deck to relevance was, I'm probably mispronouncing the name, but Rock Delar, you know, the bow that completely refilled your hand when you played it. And Hunter kind of has a new weapon in this expansion, but this time that weapon supports Secret, and every time that weapon attacks, you get to discover a secret and set it. And Secret Hunter has been in and out of the meta for a long time. There's a new Secret Hunter deck that's now being used. Just a lot of support consistently for it. And in terms of secrets, looks like he's probably going to be setting down that freezing trap.
Yeah, I would think you just jam Animal Companion here. I mean, if it's Huffer, you go face, because it's always Huffer.
Yeah, I actually agree with that too. Again, tempo is what's going to be most important, and you want the board control here. You slam down Heifer, you just, you know, you force your opponent to clear it out. I mean, he might be thinking about the weapon, but again, his minion is not good. He doesn't even have a minion on board.
Exactly.
So that minion's not going to attack and set off the freezing trap. So you're not getting a payoff for that until 2 turns in the future, where you can get a payoff right now by just summoning a big wild boar charging at your opponent.
Yeah, and if it's Misha or Leok, they live through the weapon, do the damage to face potentially. And that's the other thing that it's something that I think if you want to get into the upper ranks of Hearthstone, it's something that you need to keep in mind. Wasting mana crystals. I mean, he's sitting at 1 empty mana crystal that he's never going to use. You always want to make sure you have 0 mana crystals when available. It's the same if you play the Battleground mode. You never want to float gold. You never want to float mana. And that's usually why you'll lose games, is because you wasted a mana on a turn. And now that Animal Companion probably is stuck in his hand for 3-4 turns, because he can't just play it now, because now he's behind on board.
Yeah, this is, this isn't Quest Route, okay? You don't want to be floating mana in any
that's the only deck
instead
you're
of
allowed
Quest
to
Route.
float mana in.
This
You're
is
correct.
the opposite of Quest Druid, because basically Highlander Hunter, this is really a mid-range deck, and mid-range decks are always about spending your mana in the most effective way possible, and you do not want to float mana under any circumstances in this. The only advantage he has here, again, is look at this board. He's behind on board 2. He has... the only thing he has are these 2 secrets. Now, we know one of them is the freezing trap. The other... There are so many secrets in the game now for Hunter.
There are... Hunter, they have really been like, they've just thrown... They're like, all right, throw it at the wall. Let's see what sticks for Hunter. Looks like it is Pack
Tactics. Yep, that's one of the big ones. Going to summon a copy.
Still dies to Kill Command if he wants to get rid of the Phase Stalker.
Yeah, and Kill Command does play around the freezing trap. Instead, he's going to use that, knock back that tour guide. It really isn't that good at 3. But he saves his Voracious Reader on the board, which still allows him to throw down a bunch of cards here and not be too concerned about that.
Yeah, he probably Kill Command that, because otherwise the Phase Stalker clears the Voracious Reader.
Gonna throw that down, buff up his Voracious Reader, make it an even stickier target now to deal with. Put the Felmaw down, and now that's gonna be another card drawn off of this Reader. It spirals out of control how many cards you can draw with this minion if it isn't dealt with. It's like, it reminds me of Evil Totem, you know? It generates so many lackeys. If you don't deal with it, you really start to regret it.
He will play perfectly into Hounds.
Yeah, that's your classic, feels bad in terms of the Hounds.
That's why I would have Kill Commanded, because, I mean, even you make it a 2/4, it still dies to the bow.
Now, he does manage to clear the board here, but that seems like a bit of a misplay to me. He played the Hounds afterwards, and is not even going to clear this board. I would have thought he would have cleared the board, at least, because... that's interesting. Because if he hadn't cleared that minion before he would have played the Hounds, he would have had 1 extra Hound here. And even though it's a 1/1, you want to get every minion you can.
I think the reason he delayed the Hounds was because if he attacks with the bow after he plays Unleash the Hounds, he might just have a Hound run into it, and then he loses a Hound. So I guess his logic was, hey, let's just make sure we can clear that minion without wasting a Hound. And now they're both just going purely face at this point, because that's what Hunter does. Face is the place.
Yep, face definitely is the place. The good news for our top player here is that he does have the Voracious Reader, so he does have card draw. And the lower Hunter is really starting to run on fumes here, you know. He doesn't have any other minion to back up this board except for, his tour guide. And with that Animal Companion now, this actually, if he gets Leok, I
think it's 1-off lethal.
It's 1-off lethal, but he has his hero power, doesn't he?
I think it's 1-off lethal with the hero power. We won't know, because it's Huffer.
Well, Huffer, I think that's, oh man, first grade math. Yeah, he doesn't have lethal right now, but this is a very threatening position here.
Now he has to be careful about making sure he clears, because the Imprisoned Fellhound or Felmaw is going to wake up this turn and attack something. If it goes face, he's in a very, very scary place.
Yeah, he's going to try to dilute that here. We're going to see here. This is the RNG in Hearthstone. Are we going to see it go to face?
No.
Nope. Okay, so he can breathe a little bit easier there. In terms of RNG, though, if he just wants to go for face, he could Dragonbane, but then he can't play his weapon. That's still not lethal.
Yeah, he needed it to go face, and then he would have needed Dragonbane to go face, and he would have won.
I have seen matches turn out like that. It isn't the most unheard thing.
Probably just bow, Freezy Trap, kill a 1/1. It's probably your only hope at this point, I would think.
Yeah, because you know that he's going to be going face next turn. You can at least stop some of the damage. The problem is that if he throws that secret down right now, the other player is probably going to say, oh, freezing trap. You know, it's just such a dead giveaway to play the secret at this time, even though he really has no other choice. Instead, it's going to go with Dragonbane and hope that gets a juicy target, and then throw down Tour Guide as well. I still don't think that's quite enough to avert lethal here. It's going to depend on what it hits. And it's going to hit the 1-3. Yep, this is a done game.
Yeah, I mean, I think the freezing trap might have been the right play because, you know, as we've talked about, Jamestown has had some questionable plays. This game, it actually ends up working out. But I would have maybe said, hey, see if he plays around the freezing trap. But really just an unfortunate position to be in. So Jamestown picks up their first win with their Hunter. They still have Demon and Warlock left to go.
Now, Warlock is a very interesting class, not only just for its base mechanic and the hero power, but in terms that, along with Demon Hunter, it's one of the classes that has gotten the new Soul Fragments mechanic, which has been a very interesting kind of mechanic. Demon Hunter has been using Soul Fragments to great effect. It's a great thing where you load resources into your deck, and then you get so many insane effects. You know, you have one that gives your hero, I think it's like 4 or 5 attack. You get so many other great effects. You have even a new legendary which turns the healing effect of your soul fragments into a burn effect on the other player's health. So a lot of neat stuff you can do with that there.
Yeah, soul fragments is one of those. I'll be curious, like Pure Paladin, if it's something that survives, because it's one of those things that's going to require not constant support, but 3 or 4 cards every expansion that has to deal with soul fragments, and that's always the one thing that I think Blizzard has sometimes struggled with is, hey, let's support this archetype, and then they give it for 2 or 3 expansions, and then they're like, well, that archetype doesn't fit in our new expansion, and then that archetype just goes, boom, right into the ground.
And this is a good position here for Jamestown. Not only getting control of the board, but there really isn't a minion that they have that can deal with this. They only can throw down the Voracious Reader, but that wouldn't draw them any cards, and it's going to be gone next turn. So they're just kind of forced right now to do hero power and just hope that this Jamestown board does not get too crazy.
Yeah, it's got the Eagle Horn Bow whenever he needs. That'll clear everything. I think you probably drop it this turn, because even buffing the Voracious Reader, it'll just die and it won't draw you any cards. So this seems like a, yeah, if you use your Adorable Infestation, it'll just die. So yeah, he's just going to slowly chip away at the board, use his health as a resource, and try and get value for the Voracious Reader. It's one of those cards where you can't just throw it down and, hey, next turn I'll empty my hand. You want to make sure you at least get 1 extra card drawn with Voracious Reader, especially in a class like Hunter. That has very, very little cycle ability.
And this is not a position you want to be in where you're just purely reactionary to what your opponent puts down on the board. There's just all the board initiative here is for Jamestown, and he needs to find some way to kind of claw his way back. Now, that right there, that's not bad. The sharpshooter, that allows him at least to get even in terms on the board. It actually puts him back in control, and that's actually kind of just what he needed to draw in terms of getting back in control of this board. I would still probably attack, you just want to get control of the board right now. You don't want to be saving that for next turn you play the secret, and then the turn after that you get the 1 durability. That's just way too slow of a mindset in this kind of game.
Yeah, that's the other sort of bait, is making sure you don't sit on Eagle Horn Bow of, oh, I'll get the secret that one turn, I'll get the secret the next turn. Nice job protecting his Voracious Reader, not going to get any value out of it. Argument you just kill command it to slow down the Demon Hunter's generation. Of course, can't see that he's got a Skull of Gul'dan already outcast, so that would go to waste now, but I still think clearing the Voracious Reader is probably your best bet.
Yeah, it really is such a huge kind of soft taunt target. He's going to attack into the taunt here, then use his hero power. He does have kill command. He still maintains control of the board. It's not the best use of it, but Demon Hunter, with such as fast a class it is you do not want to give them card draw. No. I think unnerved Skull of Gul'dan has kind of showed us how dangerous too much card draw is to Demon Hunter.
Yeah, you mean you kind of play the game of, well, do they have Skull on 6 or not? But yeah, I don't think you want to give Demon Hunter any extra resources, because he's guaranteed at least to be able to play 2 cards next turn, no matter what he draws. So he just says, hey, you know what? Let's just clear this. He's still got his own Voracious Reader when he has a sort of empty turn. Oh, my bad. I guess it won't matter. I was going to say the Outcasts are actually backwards on my screen, but it still won't matter. He's going to play the weapon and still have Skull Gul'dan Outcast.
Yeah, the weapon gonna clear this out. It puts him back in control of the board. It really is about the swing turns and finding out how can I not only clear my opponent's board in this turn, but throw down a minion to make sure I'm not leaving the board blank.
Yeah, you can see his face of, you know, okay, maybe I should have not bumped in, maybe just used the kill command on the taunt. You actually would have had one more health on your Dwarven Sharpshooter. Wouldn't have mattered. It still dies to the weapon anyway.
But you save a little bit in terms of face damage.
That's true. But just gonna kind of run him down at this point. I guess so, right? Why not? Throw down the Voracious Reader, get max value.
Yeah, he's going to get as much as he can out of this Reader. Going to draw 2 cards, which isn't bad. 1 mana, 1/3. Actually, is just going to go for his hero power instead of drawing that extra card.
Does the hero power reduction cancel at the end of the turn, or does it last the whole turn? Or until you use
right.
it?
The hero power was reduced in mana, my mistake. I thought he was paying the original 2 mana for that
hero
card.
Hero power was reduced in mana. That's a pretty good Skull Gul'dan.
Yeah, that is
pretty good.
Nice.
Get the Voracious Reader to get back a card, too. Nice.
You just throw down everything here. Gets such a great foothold on this board here. Gets even more card draw. Unfortunately, because of Skull Gul'dan, you know, he's going to have 3 cards after he plays this. So, actually, no, he's going to have 2 cards. So he'll still draw 1 off of that. So that is a really good Skull Gul'dan.
Yeah. Skull Gul'dan, very powerful card, as you mentioned. Actually, no, he wanted to hold on to his other 0 mana card for next turn.
And this is a really good card here, had to be nerfed here. Scavenger's Ingenuity, drawing a beast and giving it 2/2. Really creates a sticky board. He can now throw down this beast here. Not only does he have something great that to contest, but he's going to get more secrets out of his deck, which can be really important for Highlanders. You know, throwing this kind of card down early, it thins out your deck so that your big, powerful, heavy hitters, like your Braum, are available to you, and you have more of a chance of drawing them when you need to.
The only problem for him is he already has 2 secrets in his hand. Probably the pack tactics, we'd have to think. Saw it in the Jamestown Hunter deck, but we haven't seen this Hunter deck yet. But you'd have to think it's probably the pack tactics if he's got a freezing trap and a pressure plate in hand. I don't really know if it was worth saving that Still Stepper. I would just played it. I mean, yes, you get the 4 attack, but what's an 8/1 when it probably just dies next turn anyway? Or an 8/2, I guess, in this sense. No, he doesn't want to buff it, actually.
And very familiar, for those who remember Fungalmancer, just nice getting that board, making it a little bit beefier, making those trades just work out a little better. Now, he does have his Twin Slices as well. He's going to decide to pop that secret. It's going to be explosive. Going to clear out at least 2, but he still manages to maintain board control. He's going to be able to clear out the 4/5 by using Twin Slice and have himself in a good position board-wise. It's the Demon Hunter, I think, is in a position here where it's basically almost a win because there's absolutely no minions that the other Hunter can place down. He needs to draw something insane here, you know, maybe his Zephyrus, you know, and just see what that does.
Not only he gets the charge off of the Demon Companion, he's actually could have been just 1 off lethal if he had decided to play the Twin Slice.
Yeah, he could have been 1 off lethal. He realizes that too.
Yeah, that was interesting.
It was, yeah, interesting is code word for I want to make this sound more sophisticated than it really is.
Yeah, threw away a Twin Slice to buff the Spell Burst minion when he could have just played it in a different order and done both of those.
Okay, so what I would do here is I think I'd place the Dragonbane, use the hero power, try to clear off this board, and then use Pressure Plate because you know that he has that other Twin Slice. He's going to use Pressure Plate, which guarantees the spell is going to be played, and then hope that that gets a target. Actually, he can clear the entire board here. So he uses the Twin Slice, and then you basically say, hey, nice Twin Slice you had there. There goes the rest of your board. But instead, it's going to use Freezing Trap instead. which is also it's another way to keep the minion from going face. So
yeah, keeps the minion from going face. I think he's still dead though, right? Because the minion has charge.
The minion no, it's freezing trap. Remember, the freezing trap is going to send that back.
Yeah, but couldn't he have then replayed the charge minion, hero power twin slice, and that's 5 damage?
Yeah, the minion, it does have charge. Yeah, so.
But he just spent too much mana.
Yeah, no, that's too much mana. So.
Yeah, he should have cleared the charge minion for that reason, as opposed probably could have left the 3-1 alive, the Blazing Battle Mage, because it would have died to the freezing trap, been freeze, and it can't charge. But the Hunter has one last turn. Is it possible?
This is why it's so important. Those little mistakes that we saw earlier. That's a health point here or health point there. This could definitely change it. He needs a Dragon Bane to go face. He needs it to go face if he wants to win here. Does he still have enough though? 8-3. Yeah, that's barely enough. He has to realize he just has to go face here.
Here we go.
Cross his fingers and will.
Nope.
Oh.
Nope.
Unfortunate. Means we're going on to a game 5.
So close. Yeah, I mean, Jamestown, I mean, everyone's been there where you play your hand out and you're like, that was lethal. Let's just call it extended BM at this point, because that's kind of what it was. He had lethal, messed it up. But I think that if the, oh no! I mean, it doesn't matter. He has twin slice.
Yeah,
he's getting all excited. He forgot the second slice exists in the Demon Hunter's hand.
It does. But he didn't have mana in his hand was the problem.
Yes. You can see it. He's like, oh, well, he was so excited. Alex Gunnarsson, the director for Randolph-Macon College, he was like, oh, he misplayed. And he's like, oh, that's right. It's Demon Hunter. Of course, why don't they have multiple ways to do a ton of damage? So it's Randolph-Macon, it's Jamestown. Jim Mountain said it. We're going to game 5. Should be Warlock versus Hunter in our final matchup.
Now, Warlock, that's going to be interesting because Zoo Warlock, it's barely even a tier 2 deck. It's, barely over 50%. So I doubt we would see Zoo Warlock in this lineup, but, that's overall. So individual decks in the Zoo Warlock archetype can have a higher win rate. So we might see that.
That's not Warlock, though. He's tricked us.
He's tricked us. So it might have been one of those things where they just needed to build a deck to finish out the overall lineup or something like that.
Yeah, he's actually going to bring the Druid. So both players actually brought the same lineup in terms of Druid, Hunter, Demon Hunter.
Not exactly.
Same deck lineup. This looks like
the same archetype lineup. This is a different Druid deck.
Yes.
This is Ramp Druid.
Kel'Thas in hand's not bad with the Lightning Bloom. He didn't go second. Druid probably the only class in the game that prays to go second every time, because coin would be huge with Kel'Thas.
It's amazing that Ramp, in terms of a mechanic, is back and in full force with Druid. Druid became really hated as a class, especially back when Frozen Throne was still in the mix, and you had all these, you had Taunt Druid, you had Ultimate Infestation, so many nasty cards that, for 9 and 10 mana that Druid would just love to play turns too early. And it led to a thing of, Blizzard finally said, okay, we're going to nerf both ramp cards. We're going to ramp your Nourish. We're going to nerf your, I think it was the Wild Growth. We're just going to nerf both of those so that ramp is not going to be as much of a thing in Druid anymore. And it wasn't. Druid really only had kind of token going for it until then. And then Ashes of Outland came out and they said, hey, here's Overgrowth. You liked ramping for 1 mana crystal? How about 2 mana crystals?
Yeah, I was really surprised that they brought back. I guess their logic was, Wild Growth was too cheap. Nourish was you usually use for the card draw. So Overgrow, I guess they thought felt perfect. I mean, I think if you're the Druid player, you just Lightning Bloom and Overgrowth. You don't really need to waste your Bog Beam yet, unless you're super, super scared of Hunter Secrets.
Which he might be. He is going to be doing it.
I mean, because you can just Lightning Bloom and then you Overgrowth and you can throw down your Emerald Explorer or Emerald Drake next turn. And you would have been fine. But instead he preferred to clear that and didn't want to see any secrets. Now he has no cards he can play besides Overgrowth.
Yeah. Overgrowth.
Oh, you can Lightning Bloom it, I guess.
Yeah, he can Lightning Bloom it. Go into, Emerald Explorer. Very powerful dragon. Just not only great stat line now.
Hello.
Ysera. Ysera is a pretty good card. It shuffles so many dragons into your deck. And whenever it's played against you, you always say, well, they're randomly shuffled, Maybe it'll be 1 or 2 turns before he draws it. And no, it's like it's always the next turn. Not only doesn't draw into 1 dragon, but it's usually like 3. And the board just becomes filled with big, beefy minions.
Yes, exactly. Your opponent plays it, they're getting Alexstrasza, they're getting Malagos. You play it, you get like Bronze Explorer and
Fairy Dragon.
Like, really? Really? Is that necessary? We'll say the overload did kind of ruin everything, and also wasting Lightning Bloom makes it harder for him to get his pack tactics out on the field with the Kel'Thas. Gonna need second Lightning Bloom and Bog Beam, I would assume, at some point.
He does have what he needs to clear this board here, which will be nice. With his minion, he can clear that. The problem is that now the Druid's crossing over into 6 mana, all of these extremely scary cards come online. He does manage to get his Toxic Reinforcements, which that's probably his win condition here. His win condition is probably just to try to rush him down. That's what he needs to do here, is try to get as much damage through to that Druid before the Druid plays all these scary turns. Breath of Dreams is going to draw him a card, give him even... Oh, Overflow.
It's probably over.
It's probably over. It's like Ultimate Infestation Overflow, without the damage or body, but it's that stabilization that comes in the end of the game, which just burns so much for the opponent. I got him down so low on health. And he doesn't... Okay.
He needed I think Leok or Huffer, and then the Leok Huffer version of Demon Companion were actually lethal.
Yeah, he needed
to
close.
Close.
What's he going to get here? Okay, he is going to get some more damage there, so it might not be too out of reach. Basically, even with the Overflow... Oh, he has 9 mana, so even with the Overflow, I think he's still in range here. So
he'll have 3 mana left. He can't use Kel'Thas to play Overflow, unless he gets a cheap spell.
In Oasis, it's been a while since I've seen you.
I think you might want to do Cenarian Ward, yeah. Hope you can get a taunt card.
Oh, okay, what's he going to get here?
Oh, no!
Oh, feels bad. Oh, that's got to burn.
Could he actually pick Breath of Dreams and then played Kel'Thas and gotten a free Overflow? I don't know if that would have saved him. But it would have been a possibility.
The only thing that would have been worse for him if Rosticons was still in the mix and he would have gotten Hyreek.
Yeah.
He got a shiny 8 mana 1/1. Woohoo!
Nice little victory there by Randolph Macon. Won the first 2 games rather handily, and then the Hunter deck had some issues, but he finally does burst down Ramp Druid probably about 3 turns before the ramp went online. Helped out that he went second. If he goes first, he probably loses that matchup. Druid with Lightning Bloom, Kel'Thas, and Coin in hand, GG.
Yep.
It's over.
Yeah, and there was the interesting question there of using that Lightning Bloom. Obviously, it got him 1 on board. He could have done the Overgrowth. But, I probably, going for that 6 mana on the board probably was a good decision, too. It just, he didn't have the stabilization he needed, and it's all about recognizing what the win condition you have is. And the Hunter realized that, he's playing this very super heavy control deck. I've got to burst him down before he gets there, and that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, it was really, like I said, I think if the Druid goes second, he wins. It really did come down to a coin flip, because Lightning Bloom plus Coin, Kel'Thas Sunstrider, it's GG. He throws down Pack Tactics on turn 7, and everything, or turn 5 really, and everything's now +4/+4. There's no way you're getting through that Emerald Explorer, let alone what else he discovers, and really came down to the very end to a coin flip, and a really well-played game, though, by both players. There's a reason it went to Game 5. It was very, very close, despite the couple of misplays by both sides. It was a very close series. Probably came down, we talked about the Open Gem Mountain. It's a aggro meta. Don't always have room for these control decks like we saw our Jamestown player bring in Game 5 that he had to win with.
Yeah, aggro just really very dominating the meta right now. You need to have those health stabilizers in the decks. You need to be able to play your Overflow. You need to be able to play your Libram of Hopes. You need to be able to have that healing because the aggro decks have gotten to a point where they're at such a good power level that it's going to almost be guaranteed that you're going to be down at least below half health. So having those 8 health, 5 health heals are very important.
Yeah, and that is sort of the holy trinity. There's usually one in every single game of Hearthstone where, aggro is supposed to be in control because it can't get on in line fast enough. Control is supposed to be mid-range because it just grinds the game down. And then mid-range is supposed to beat aggro because it can survive enough of the burst and then win. It really feels like we've gone away from that, and mid-range has sort of become the mid-range doesn't feel like it exists anymore. As we do take a look at our bracket here. So we are now down to our championship in the NACE All-Stars Hearthstone event. It is going to be Texas A&M San Antonio taking on Randolph-Macon here for the championship.
Now, we didn't necessarily see how Texas A&M got here going up against CPI, but I do want to see just a little bit more variety in this deck. I want to see some Mage, because Mage is the one class that has completely gone off the rails in terms of how much card generation and randomness it has. One of their new cards is Deck of Lunacy, which changes every single spell in your deck to one that costs more mana. So it's absolutely insane what Mage is doing now. Blizzard has kind of really gone all into the Mage archetype of, I'm going to cast a bunch of spells. I don't know what those spells are, but more often than not, they're powerful spells, and those are going to allow me to get the win.
Well, unfortunately, I've been informed by production. We're not going to see any Mage for you, Gem Mountain. We might see Paladin. I'm surprised we haven't seen any pure Paladin. Both players brought the exact same class lineup that we just saw in terms of Hunter, Demon Hunter, and Druid. Looks like Jamestown had their Warrior deck banned away, and Randolph-Macon had a Warlock deck banned away. All of this, of course, for the NACE All-Stars, bringing coaches and directors from over 300 of the nation's best esports colleges and universities together for fun and for fundraising. This year, the NACE Esports All-Stars supporting the American Cancer Society of Gamers vs. Cancer Initiative. Different institutions will be competing in games and in fundraising, and you can even donate tonight at that link on your screen. Right there. Of course, they'll have a competition. We'll have leaderboards throughout, as you see there. 4 games for fun, all for a good cause. And, of course, not only is it for a good cause, but you get the bragging rights as well to brag about just how talented you. Because, when the students play, it's like, hey, my students are better than your students, okay. When I'm better than you personally, that means more. That means double, really, Gem Mountain, when you can win personally.
And it looks like we're going to be seeing the lineup going into this: Demon Hunter, Warlock, and Druid against Hunter, Demon Hunter, and Paladin. So Paladin, we're probably going to see pure Paladin. The Warrior that was banned out was probably Bomb Warrior. That's the Warrior that's been in relevance for the past year or so. It always is good at generating a lot of weapons, buffing them up in terms of durability, shuffling so many bombs into your opponent's deck, then throwing down boom, letting the explosions go all over the place, and it's a very fun time if you're the one playing it. But if you're not, then every turn you're getting just a little bit more chip damage taken away. But we're not going to see that. So that's a little bit of a relief for anyone who doesn't like playing Bomb Warrior against it.
We will get to see the Warlock deck that we were speculating. That will be actually Gunnarson's deck, the coach for Randolph-Macon that we just saw win. He actually had his Hunter deck that he really struggled with banned away. He was on the top there. Hollow was the coach for Texas A&M San Antonio. So we'll actually get to see this Warlock deck that we were trying to figure out where it fits in, if it's Zoo, what is it? As you mentioned, Warlock is an interesting deck. It's had its moments in the sun, but in aggro metas, because of the hero power alone, Warlock usually tends to fall flat unless they have insane control tools like we saw during the Q block days, where they could say, I'm going to put myself at 5 health, and then I'll be back at 30, and you're dead. I don't think they have that anymore, thankfully.
Yeah, Q-Block was definitely insane, especially when it had Enzoth still available to it. But right now, we are still in this NAC matchup in Hearthstone.
Yeah, this is Randolph-Macon taking on Texas A&M San Antonio, the NACE All-Star Esports championship for Hearthstone. Like the interesting color palette there for Texas A&M San Antonio. That is not like, a Google image and it was just happened to be in grayscale. That is their actual color scheme of gray and black. And I think it looks really, really unique, I think is the best way to put it. It flows well on the tiger, jaguar, whatever their mascot is.
I mean, hey, having a gray and black color scheme isn't the worst idea.
That's true.
I'll just say that. Alrighty, so we are going to see this Warlock come out first. And oh my goodness, is this Quest Warlock?
It is. It's Quest Warlock.
Oh boy, now this is going to be an interesting time. So Quest Warlock is going to want to draw as many cards as they can. He's actually going to shuffle the Quest back into his deck. So unless you have some next level thinking here, Fish, everything I was about to say just got thrown out the window.
My guess is we still have it's Alex Gunnarsson on the bottom from Randolph-Macon and Travis Yang from Texas A&M San Antonio on the top for our championship. My guess is he's playing in a Demon Hunter. He assumes it's aggro Demon Hunter. We can actually see that it's not. He doesn't want to life tap his whole health away, is what I'm thinking he wants. Because you can't just keep tapping your health. Yes, you do have plot twist. I think he was scared that he was going to tap himself to death trying to complete the quest.
That is a good point there. Problem is it's
soul.
He can still use the soul fragments, and he does have some control tools here. So
what is that one card that we're not allowed to see?
Yeah, that's very interesting. It almost looks like a magic trick. I'm going to place this one card face down in this hand here.
Yeah, this is my trap card. Yeah, he actually would have been well placed to keep the quest, because right now he's not really going to get burst down. There's no burst in his opponent's hand because it's actually control Demon Hunter, if you will.
What does your quest deck become when you're not playing the quest?
A lot of draw cards.
A lot of draw cards.
You can't really play until you find the quest.
So this is hand Warlock with no synergy for drawing hands.
Demons?
Yeah, this is Disaster Warlock. Because he's going to slowly find out. And you know that the longer and longer he goes with having to waste cards that he doesn't want to play because he doesn't have the quest, he's going to say, well, okay. I mean, he can get the soul fragments in his deck, I guess. That's about all he can really play. He doesn't want to waste drawing cards like his Questing Explorer in the play. He can't waste the plot twist at all.
Yeah, he can't waste that. He's just, I guess he's going to shuffle more soul fragments into his deck and call it a day. This is so bizarre. I mean, I get the line of thinking. He doesn't want to go too low on health against aggro Demon Hunter, but I've never seen a quest deck shuffle their quest back into the deck.
Now he's just playing mind games with the Texas A&M San Antonio coach. Because he threw down the Questing Explorer. He's like, wait, what?
Yeah, I know.
What's happening right now?
It might be so unorthodox that in a very weird way, the Demon Hunter, Texas A&M, does not know what to do in this situation.
Like I said, I think mulliganing the quest with the information you have is probably the right choice, right? You just played against aggro Demon Hunter. You probably assume it's aggro Demon Hunter, which is the slightly stronger of the two Demon Hunter decks, though both of them are very, very strong. It's not a bad choice in reality. Now is when it becomes like, oh, this is not good anymore.
Yeah, and the worst, some of the worst turns are going to be in the middle of the matchup when Demon Hunter draws all its synergy cards that use the soul fragments as cost for their effects, and that can really be said. Now, in terms of using soul fragments, he does manage to create a pretty decent board for himself there using that one card. So even without his quest, he's doing all right.
Yeah, he's not doing too bad. Thinking though, Demon Hunter probably wants to clear the right 3 cards to get that Skull of Gul'dan active on 6 if he can.
I grow impatient.
I mean, you could double Twin Slice, you'd clear the 7/8, you take 7 to the face. But you have soul fragments in your deck. you can find them off Skull of Gul'dan, which you don't want to. As you mentioned, you use those for resources, so he'll do that instead.
And here's the card giving his hero 5 attack just by destroying 1 soul fragment. Gets himself a nice board presence there. Now he does draw one of the new old gods as well that came on with the latest expansion.
Came back, really, in a sense.
Yeah, came back but with a different effect.
It's like it adds every corrupted card back to his hand. Not a bad one.
Yeah, every one that he's played, you know, gives you a nice reload at the end to help you become even more of a sticky control deck.
Yeah, especially if you find it with a quest from Quest Warlock, when it costs 0, so he's able to reload and then maybe play some of those cards. Right now, it's just sitting as a corruption activator. I will say, Yasharj was kind of the weak link, I would say, of the old guns. I mean, of course,
Yeah,
Cthulhu had his moment in the sun. Yogg, we all know what Yogg could do. N'Zoth saw it from time to time. Yasharj, I mean, it had its moments in
Barnes.
like Pronounced Darkness Warlock or Spell Hunter, where you only ran Barnes in him, but he was sort of the weakest one of the bunch. Which
I don't care if you're using your quest or not. Kartit Defender is always a good minion to have on board if you're looking to have a more control-based deck, having to deal with that Reborn mechanic. Probably one of the most annoying mechanics ever released if you're the one playing against it, because it's often tied to so many great effects like healing or convincing Infiltrator, destroying a minion. A lot of people are going to be happy once that taunt gets out of the game with the next set rotation, because Control Priest, quite infamous with convincing Infiltrator.
Yeah, Reborn is one of those where I think there was too many resources given to it, which that one, of course, easier to support. All you have to do is just print cards with Reborn. But yeah, cards with Defender, Convincing Infiltrator were the two that you were just like, please stop. Please, no. I know it's your home and your tombs. You can have them. Please. Or against when it was the event where they brought N'Zoth back and you'd play against Death Rattle Rogue and you're like, yes, I understand. There are 6 homes and 6 tombs. Please just go away. I don't want to deal with you anymore.
The real estate market is too overloaded right now.
Exactly.
You can't keep making more homes and tombs.
Exactly. I mean, the Warlock's doing a good job here of bursting, I should say in quotes, down the Demon Hunter. Doesn't really have much else besides just dragging it to face every turn.
Yeah, and this Demon Hunter doesn't have control of the board. He does have the ability to use 7 mana right there. Doesn't have his Skull online too, but he wouldn't necessarily want to use it there either.
Yeah, I think he should have probably played towards getting that Skull online as opposed to clearing, because he could have cleared with the Twin Slice to taunt. I think it would have been better to get the Skull online.
I grow impatient.
Because now, I mean, he has, what, 1 Soul Fragment in his deck? Maybe, is it just 1? Or no, it's 3, right? 2 from the weapon, 2 from the Imp.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So, the Legendary is only going to summon 3 3/3s.
I mean, that's not bad. It gets so much on the
actually,
board with
fine.
Rush. Yeah, okay.
I was like,
I
wait.
think that's a pretty good turn.
Yeah, no, I totally... I think he played... Did he play 2 of the weapon? I'm just trying to figure out where the other 2 came from.
But someone has a big old wrecking ball.
Woohoo!
And back to start. Okay, what do you got now?
Yeah, and it'll act... Hey, he's got a Soul Fragment. Woohoo!
2 health.
I mean, and now he has the... he's corrupted his Legendary, so now he can burn the top 5 cards of his opponent's hand. I really want to know what the magic card is.
Yeah, that's really kind of insane. He's gonna go ahead and use the Skull, even though he doesn't get the effect off of it. Draws a Soul Fragment.
Poor Warlock.
I don't think it would have been a bad idea to... I guess he could... I was going to say, he could double Twin Slice, but he also had the 2-mana card in the way, so... I mean, Skull's one of those cards that, you know, it eventually loses value the longer you hold on to it, much like discarding your quest and watching it sit in your deck. Hey, grats to Super Chicken, though. He just hit Legend.
Hey, nice job.
Big shout out, Super Chicken. You hit Legend on stream unknowingly.
Well played.
Well played. Good job. I wonder what deck he used. Good job to him, though. There's no reason you don't just burn, right?
What was the deck you hit Legend in?
I hit Legend with Odd Rogue.
Odd Rogue.
Yes, against Kingsbane Rogue. So I have a screenshot of me with Odd Rogue with any Venom in my hand. When I show people, they're like, why were you running any Venom? And I was like, it wasn't. It was from a Blink Fox against Rogue. Please do not flame. Soul Fragment. Soul Fragment. All right, doubles. Okay. Oh, there we go.
Oh.
I was just saying, it was just duplicate night. He had 2 Soul Fragments, 2 Mystics, and then Kane. One of those is not like the other. Unfortunately for our Warlock player. Our Demon Hunter player, I should say.
Back to what you were saying, I actually hit Legend with Mid-Range Hunter. Back when they had the Death Knights, the Rexar.
Oh, okay. I mean, so you're no more better than I am. Everyone hated Rexar. Oh, he just gets to create infinite beasts. Okay, cool. Hunter gets to draw 2 cards every turn now. Is he gonna go for the clear?
He might just.
Oh, he can Blade Dance, and then he can go face.
Yeah, Blade Dance. Yeah.
Create. Perfect. Thank you, Blizzard, for that.
Blade Dance is such an annoying card because it can do up to 3 minions. And you know, with Demon Hunter, it can easily, you know, under the right circumstances, get up to, you know, 8, 9 attacks. So you play a card like that, you clear 3 of your opponent's minions, and then you get the 6/6 on top of that, which only costs 1 because your hero has a bunch of attack. It's just a very nice card combo. And, hey, you know, why not just go back to classic control tactics, and in that case, just place a card down and chill for a turn.
I would have preferred... I mean, I like this card, I will say, with the card to it, because he needed it for the health. I would have rather held on to the Yasharj and tried to get back your Tictus and then start to destroy the Demon Hunter's deck. Because he's already drawn with Skull of Gul'dan.
Of course it's the right way.
I mean, you kind of play this as a fatigue match if you want. We still haven't seen the quest, by the way, since he discarded it on turn 1.
Yeah. So now those Quested Explorers aren't going to draw anything. He's basically just playing kind of a control Warlock. The good news for him is that he's drawn 2 board clears. He has that Twisting Nether.
Yep.
And then he also has Dark Skies, I believe. Allows him to clear, deal 1 damage for each card in his hand. The problem is that he's played a good amount of them now, so he's only going to have 5 damage go to all the others. So really want, you know, maybe 8 or above for the card to be really effective.
Yeah, you want to have that full hand. He still has Twisting. Isn't a great Twisting hand, unfortunately, and too much health, but there's too much health on the board. So I think you kind of have to Twisting and just tap. Or I guess you could plot
Or tap
twist.
and Twisting. Just tap first to see what you get.
Yeah, draw first, usually the tactic, but I think the better play might be plot twist and reload for next turn, because you want to draw all your Broodmother again. She gets value by being drawn over and over, not by being played. Still in the deck. You can draw her for some extra health.
Texas A&M still has their Skull of Gul'dan, though, so it's really the toughest thing when you're going up against Demon Hunter is there's so many boards you have to clear, and when you do clear those boards, that Skull is there as the perfect reload. It can just be insane how much Demon Hunter can drag out the game, and that you have a class that can both be very bursty in terms of aggro, but also has really late game resources in terms of its draw.
We really have never seen that in a class, have we?
I grow impatient.
Like, Warriors had moments of being able to burst people down with Patron Warrior and Pirate Warrior,
Warlock.
but we've very rarely seen a class that can run multiple cards. One of them being, hey, let's run Skull in an aggro deck as a finisher, and then being, hey, let's run Skull in a control deck so I can just draw more cards.
Yeah, it really is a card that's good in almost any deck.
Every class would love a Skull of Gul'dan in their deck.
Oh, they would. Paladin is just grinding its teeth having their 3-mana draw taken away from them.
I mean, that card was, hey, look, it's our unknown card again. Maybe it's the quest.
Yeah, that's probably the quest. That's what I would say.
Oh, it's a taunt minion. It's not the quest. I don't know what it is, but it said taunt on it. Maybe it's a... Oh, there we go. It's fixed itself now. No longer a magic trick.
Interesting. So he does have the Warglaives, which gives him some much-needed healing, Texas A&M, to keep this going on. Problem is that you really got to think of what is the Warlock's win condition now. And the Warlock's win condition is basically, without the quest, being the control deck and using that, new form of the Old God to get every single corrupted card that you played back into your hand to just keep this game going. So in that regard, he's not doing the worst. The Demon Hunter hasn't really been pressing him down for lethal that much. He's at a healthy level with 20 right now, and he's used both of his skulls. So this might just be the Demon Hunter's kind of last push to try to get some sort of board presence and whittle down the Warlock's health.
Yeah, I don't know how the fatigue race is going. Double Skull of Gul'dan plus getting 5 cards burned off the top usually should mean the Warlock is winning. Because against the Soul Fragment Demon Hunter, that's usually how you can win, is just run them out of souls, run them out of cards. Which Quest Warlock is designed to do. It's sort of an anti-control deck, if you will. Especially now with their new card Tictus to be able to burn some powerful cards. He got the Kane out of the way. That probably also changes the whole plan for the Demon Hunter.
Yeah, he would have loved to have Kane right now.
Yeah, just ignore the taunt, go face. Instead, he's kind of in an awkward spot where he has a clear. It's going to cost him 7 health and a minion, but he's going to get 2 Soul Fragments in his deck. Actually, it only cost him 5 health. He'll heal some of it back. Does look like our observer's having some issues.
All right.
So we'll come back in just a second. Of course, we can tell the writing was on the wall.
Yeah.
When we had magic cards.
And that's I really do think the Demon Hunter was kind of having its last hurrah in that overall matchup. And I think the fact that he had a good number of Soul Fragments in his deck really kind of masked the whole thing, because when you have cards shuffled in your deck, it makes your deck look thicker in the game. But if you were to take those cards out, I think he had, 4 to 6 Soul Fragments probably in his deck, and take all of those out, he was really starting to run on fumes there.
Yeah, I mean, because the Soul Fragments, you'll draw it, and then you'll just draw another one. So they're not the extra buffer card that they might look like. So we're going to get back in. Looks like our Demon Hunter actually won that one. Our Spectator took it away from us, but our Demon Hunter was actually able to win. So he's now on to his Hunter deck. And it looks like Alex Gunnarsson.
He's gonna play the quest
Whoa,
now.
he did it! He probably wins that matchup. Alex Gunnarsson, the coach of Randolph-Macon, probably wins that matchup if he plays the quest on turn 1.
They're both smiling like, I knew you were playing quest.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's unfortunate that our Spectator bugged out, because I don't know if he ever actually was able to play the quest that last game.
All right, so he's going up against Hunter. Looks like to be good old Highlander Hunter here. So it's going to be the question of, can he get that damage through before Quest Warlock does what it does best and just does a bunch of insane stuff in those later turns to stabilize and stop you. This is going to be a question of how much pressure you can get through. And you see that right here. He's just going face. I'm just pushing through as much damage as I can.
It's like he's hesitated for a moment. Wants to see if he's, but yeah, I mean, traditionally the Hunter and the Warlock matchup, as long as it's not Zoo, has been, can the Hunter kill you before the Warlock puts up too many taunts in your way to slow you down, especially with, we call it Highlander Hunter, it's basically Aggro Hunter with King Crush at the very end of it. Like, that's really what the deck has become.
Now, one of the cheekiest kind of engagements that you can get between these two classes is Hunter getting Warlock's health low enough to basically their hero power is offline. And that can be really crucial in those last couple of turns. It's one card, but one card can change a game around, especially in a control type setup with Warlock, which, has its N'Zoths or has its Twisting Nethers, and having that one little bit of health not available to you, or, that utility can really bite. So it's just all the more reason to try to get this Warlock's health down as fast as he can.
Yeah, that's as a Hunter player, that's exactly how you have to play every matchup, is how quickly can I get their life tap turned offline. Little harder now. I mean, in previous metas, there was some healing. Now with the soul fragments being able to be added back in, and each one heals you for 2, it is a tad harder. But yeah, that's the hunter's goal: is how quickly can he turn off life tap, which will effectively shut down the quest, and can he do it quick enough to win the game? Well, I'm going to say no. By the way, but just from that alone.
Yeah, probably he doesn't have too much that he can play here. This is probably going to be a draw turn for him to just put down the reader. Is going to draw at least 2 more cards here. I do believe it's 2 more cards, unless I think it's a 1 mana, the other card he has in his hand.
Yeah, it's the tour guide.
Okay, so he can play all the cards here. No, he can't, excuse me. So he has to keep one of those cards, unfortunately. But still, drawing 2 with the reader isn't bad.
No, not at all. I think, yeah, he's going to play the reader. I like the misdirection pick, actually, because you know, freezing trap is usually the obvious one, and they'll play around freezing trap. So I actually really do like the misdirection pick, and I also still hate that card, but Zephyrus is going to be really great to dealing with these big taunts that are about to be coming his way in terms of back-to-back potentially Void Drinkers.
Yeah, Zephyrus, a great draw no matter what. It's going to be, I'm going to be sad to see him go. It's kind of just
I'll be happy. I'll be very happy.
A few more months with him, and then he goes on into Wild, and such a great fun card. I think it's one of the best cards Blizzard's designed. I love the idea behind him.
It's a card. I'll give you that. I think it's a fun card in theory, but there's nothing more infuriating than playing against your opponent and playing everything perfectly and then losing because they top deck Zephyrus and he's like, hey, here's a free fireball.
Well, yes, but there's always been cards that...
There's never been a card that can generate a Shaman a fireball, Gem Mountain. That was never happened.
That is true. Zephyrus is kind of the ultimate draw in that circumstance, but he is a very fun card to play.
Yes.
Is more what I meant. In terms of playing, I really do like him. And I think it is a very unique idea that Blizzard came up with. He's going to throw down King Crush
He's
now.
going full face. He got the hoofer to clear out the first portion of the card suit, and he's just going to say, all right, see if you can save yourself this time.
Yeah, I mean, he does have coin twisting nether. So
yeah.
that's all he can do, though. So he's leaving himself wide open. He does have 11 health. That is a great twisting nether. And the hunter, you know, what is he going to have to follow it up is the main question. He does have, you know, his 2 secrets. He does have his weapon. Manages to still get him down to really low health. So these next few turns are the deciding factor. This is where it all meets where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. And does Hunter have enough damage, and does the Warlock have enough strategy here to play around those secrets so that it doesn't come back to bite him? Because that misdirection, it'll hurt. If he throws down a big minion and attacks with it and it ends up hitting himself for face, it's very reminiscent of an eye for an eye.
I mean, he could throw down, I think he just shuffled 2 more soul fragments in his deck. He could throw down the questing and plot twist. Probably his best bet.
So many possibilities.
I mean, if he plays around the free, he actually didn't have any soul fragments in his deck, never mind. So I don't really know what his play is here. I would have liked the plot twist. He also has, I think, 2 Broodmothers in his deck that can heal him for 4. Or Broodmothers, depending on your pronunciation choice.
Not much to do there, just has to kind of pass there.
There you go. Two more soul fragments from the Spirit Jailer.
Yep, more stabilization. And this, I think, is the point where the match is going to start to turn around.
Questing first, play the questing first. You're not going to get the questing back.
Oh.
Should have played the questing first.
He's going to get a big charge there on his quest.
But not going to find
no
any
real
soul
soul fragments drawn. So that still leaves his health at not the best position.
He should still be able to draw his Broodmother, though, to heal him for 4 with his Draw 2 Demons card. Should still have one in the deck. think the biggest mistake here is if he throws away his Void Drinker into that freezing trap trying to get the lifesteal. Probably the only way he has any issues.
Yeah, he doesn't want to let his taunt down.
I don't know what that card was, by the way. Our spectator has deleted it.
Might just be something where might just be an asset hasn't loaded in or something, so like the game can't display it.
Yeah, looks like we might have another spectator issue, so we'll have to get that fixed. Spectator really hates Warlock.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, no, don't play Warlock.
Might be trying to tell us something is that it doesn't want to see this Warlock deck here.
Does look like we have been able to fix our spectator this time, though, so we are going to be able to join our same match in progress. With the Hunter in a quite favorable position.
Yeah, I would probably say that the position has improved quite a lot for the Warlock here.
Yes.
Hunter not really having anything. He can't try to rush him down now. He can't, try to hope for the best with this Dragonbane. I mean, he doesn't have the worst board should this hit the right target.
Not a bad target. I mean, both of them had 4 health.
But you gotta look at the hands here. I mean,
yeah.
This Warlock has so much more that he can play. This is basically, we've gotten past the time where it's feasible for the Hunter to try to rush down the Warlock. The Warlock has his quest completed, can now play all these crazy late turn cards. This is basically over.
Yeah, there's not much the Hunter can do. Once you hit about turn 10, especially when the quest gets online in Quest Warlock, you just kind of got to throw your hands up and hope for a disconnect or a series of just unfortunate misplays, because he's multiple turns away from lethal at best for the Hunter.
He's just going to do kind of a sad little hero power there. He's going to hit something, not make much of an impact there. He can clear that taunt, but still got the Quartet to deal with.
Yeah, nothing he can do, unfortunately. Hunter just ran out of steam, probably 2 turns too early. I like the full committal on the Dino Tamer. Unfortunately, he played right into Twisting Nether, and that'll set you back as a Hunter if you don't have a follow-up turn to make your board wide and punish them for only playing Twisting. I
mean, he did what he needed to do. He pushed lethal. He basically, threw his cards. All aggro decks, when going up against a control deck, is going to have that moment where they say, I've got to make the proactive decision here to either end the game now or I'm not going to win it. And so either you say to the opposing player, either you have the board clear here or I rush you down next turn. And that was his win condition. He recognized it. It just didn't work out for him. Warlock had the control cards that he needed to keep on going, and that is all she wrote.
Yeah, that is all he had. I mean, I guess he could play it out, but I mean, at this point, you kind of hope you can see what he's doing in his hand. He's saving the 5 damage kill command with his 1 mana beast for a hero power, so he's going for the 7 damage burn, which I guess with the card to it never dies, then yes, that'll work. But unfortunately, I don't think that'll work very well.
Snake Trap isn't going to do much. I still think that misdirection hasn't been triggered yet. I still think that's the one that hasn't been triggered at the end of this, but he has that 1/3 that he can just use to burn the secret on.
Oh, I thought he was just gonna go full face, which he could have.
He could have, but he realized there's no real way that the Hunter's gonna come back here.
The only way he wins is if you mess up the misdirection.
Basically, yeah. But like I said earlier, that's like losing to Eye for an Eye. So it would have to be such a huge oversight. And at 29 health, I doubt he's even going to get a minion that's up to 30 attack and then just go face. We're not talking Ancient One strategies here.
That is true. I mean, if he maybe makes the mistake of going face with his Tectis, maybe he wins. But it was a great job by Alex Gunnarsson of Randolph-Macon playing around the misdirection, which is not a very common secret, which is why I like that, you pick it sometimes. So Hunter will flash that he had the 7 damage burn from hand, let the Warlock know just how little he held on by, and then probably surrender. I guess he'll just play it out, but I mean, there's no way he comes back.
No, and it's not, the Warlock still would have had stuff to play.
Yeah. Nothing he can do here.
Yeah, but just now use the... If it is misdirection, you know, to play around that, you're going to want... He is going to go with the full attack.
Oh,
Okay.
Whoa! He was like, I'm just going face.
Okay. There you go.
That'll do it. No, just hit him in the face.
This is a rub salt in the wound
Hit him
kind
in
of
the
moment
face.
here.
You don't need to...
Well played.
I'm going to drag this out, let you know how little a chance you had.
Exactly. I'll burn all of the cards in your deck. Just to make him take fatigue.
I absolutely love it. That is chippy right there. That is an extra showy way, and it's going to go out with honor, attack into the card tip. That is a win with style.
Yeah, that was a great played match there. So it's tied up now at 1-aside here between our two teams in the NACE Hearthstone All-Stars Championship, Texas A&M San Antonio and Randolph-Macon. Be curious to see what they want to bring out. We know for Randolph-Macon it's Demon Hunter and Druid that he has left. Hunter being banned away. We know it's Hunter and I believe Demon Hunter, no, Paladin. Hunter and Paladin for
right,
Texas
we
A&M.
still haven't seen Pure Paladin, which is the deck with the top win. So he's gotten his Warlock out of the way, so we're not seeing the Warlock anymore.
Yeah,
so
the names
still has
are
Druid and
flipped,
Jeep.
by the way. Always is our bottom player, Hollow is our top player. So we've got Hunter Paladin and Demon Hunter Druid left for one of these players to win with.
And this is the part where you're looking at all the spreadsheets, looking at all of the win rates, thinking, what do I pick? Do I just go for something that has the higher win rate, or do I try to do a sneaky pick? You know, do I try to predict what they're going to pick and then pick what's good against that? You know, it's this where the mind games come in.
Yeah. And we do know that it is an aggro Demon Hunter for Gunnarsson. We already saw the controlled Demon Hunter win our first matchup for Hollow, the Texas San Antonio director. And they're now both going to play Hunter against each other. And probably very identical deck list this time.
Yep. Very similar, going with both Highlander Hunter. In these mirror matches, it's going to basically be a test of skill, who can spend their mana most efficiently, who is best at board control, just kind of the basics of tempo and the fundamentals of the game.
Yes.
And we are off.
And, you know, better skin, which neither of them have Illyria, so neither of them win that category.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Sylvanas is okay. I don't think she should have been a Hunter, but that's for another debate. I think that that was a stretch by Blizzard.
That's a great draw there, getting the reader, being able to have that card draw and keep the steam going is a huge advantage in this type of mirror matchup.
Yeah, unfortunately for Texas San Antonio, they'll be able to get Dino Tamer whenever they want. That's about it at this point.
Yeah, it is that kind of that real struggle of wanting the minions to play on the board and not having too many secrets load up your hand. Which that new secret, you know, open the gates, getting an animal companion when you already have 2 minions on board. It's a good secret to pay off, but it can really it really stinks if your opponent is continuously clearing your board, not giving you any chance for that secret to go off, and it's just sitting in you know, your hand or sitting on the field not doing anything. So it's a great secret, but it has to have the right circumstances in order to get the full payout.
Yeah, and he still doesn't have any minions in his hand besides his Portal Keeper, which you probably don't want to play because then you're going to start with the higher cost cards of your deck and you're forced that first turn you play it to get Dino Tamer, which either if he coins it out or plays it on 4 is going to be unplayable for several turns. I think this might be just an Eagle Horn and start whacking away at the face kind of game.
Yeah, that might be the best strategy that he can muster here. Try to get some sort of advantage, at least in health. If you can't get an advantage of the board, then maybe go for health.
No time
even having the coin here, he just doesn't have the resources he does in mana to really do the only strong play, which is... you can play Lorekeeper if you want to try to get some presence on board. The only problem is the Fellhound wakes up and attacks into it, so he's going to do Petting Zoo, which is, I think that's the best strategy. It gets some sort of ward presence. He has something to contest the Fellhound.
It's probably just Eagle Horn, Adorable Infestation, and start ramping up your board if you're the Randolph Making Coach. Yeah, that's exactly what he's going to do. All right, you had no answer to my 5-4 when it was dormant. What answer do you have now that it's a 6-2? Besides Explosive Trap. The only play this plays new Explosive Trap very, very poorly, by the way.
Yeah, he does manage to use Unleash the Hounds, though, so he can clear that out, but he's going to only have 1 mana left, so he's going to be playing his 1/1. Basically, it's basically the new Alley Cat.
Yeah, but the right one's not cuter this time.
Yeah, that is true. But it does manage to get him some sort of advantage on the board. It's not the biggest advantage, but it still is one. Unfortunately for him, this 4/5 is going to come down. He's going to thin out his deck, get a secret on the board. And I actually wonder if this is the same secret. If it's the...
No, he thinks it's Explosive Trap.
I wish he would kind of hover over it, just so...
I mean, we know he runs Pressure Plate, Freezing Trap. Freezing Trap.
Yeah. Well, we'll have a bunch more secrets to guess about now that this new weapon has hit the game. He's going to be able to discover a secret here, set it down. He's going to choose...
Wow, that was quick.
Ooh,
Pressure
Plate.
Unfortunately, that's not Explosive Trap that he's looking at. It's Animal Cage. And he wasted some damage because he thought he was too scared that it was potentially Explosive Trap.
Pressure Plate is always the one that kind of sneaks up on me in terms of when I'm playing, and I usually miss it. It's just so easy to start playing all of...
You're just throwing down spells. You're playing Mage, like, ha! Ha! And it's like, oh, there goes my Malygos.
Yeah.
Please attack. Come on, just...
Oh, no! Okay,
no!
oh no! Is he going to lose it? Is he going to pay the price? Oh, he knows it! He knows it!
No.
Oh, no! Oh!
Should have attacked first. Good news for him. There's still really nothing in this hand for Texas San Antonio. Texas A&M San Antonio, I should say.
I mean, he has a lot more mana now, so now playing the Lorekeeper and getting the Brahman for next turn, he can do that.
It's not an awful idea, actually.
Yep, he's going to go with that. Gets him control of the board. He has all these secrets, and knowing that you're going to have your King Crush for next turn ain't too bad.
No, not at all. You also... Oh, but a nice counter pressure play. They're all playing in a pressure play now.
Anything you can do, I can do worse. Oh, both of them played right into that.
Bad news, though, is he's still very, very behind on damage. You can see 25 to 11. You can throw down your Fellhound. You can throw down your Vicarious Reader. Fellmaw. I don't know what the difference between a Fellhound and a Fellmaw is in the lore. I'm apologizing to all Fellmaw owners.
Oh, Kill Command 2, that puts him in range.
He doesn't have a beast yet. So
that is true, actually.
Is he in range? He's in range if he has a beast. Oh, he does. He has Adorable Infestation. Never mind. So you probably want to play the Phase Stalker and then Kill Command, right? Because if you play Adorable Infestation, I don't know the order, but would the Pressure Plate potentially destroy the 1/1?
It would destroy it would destroy the Sharpshooter. It's not going to destroy the Dormant. So.
Well, can it destroy the 1/1 cub that it summons? I mean.
Oh, I think it can. I think the wording on the card says after your opponent. So I think that would imply that the effect resolves and then the effect of the secret comes in. Instead, going to use the... Wait, whoa.
Or was
slow down, slow down there.
Was he one off lethal? Yeah, he was. 3, 5. Yeah, he was... No, he had lethal. He had lethal. And there's no secret that can stop a bow attack.
Well.
You had... Oh. And now the pressure... Oh, wait, it's not pressure plate. Or the pressure plate already went off. He had lethal. He had lethal. Right, because the bow is 3. Kill command is 5. That's 8. His steady shot is 2. Last I checked, 3 plus 5 plus 2 is 10.
It is.
Okay, thank you for confirming me, Gem Mountain.
You know how we said at the beginning of this match that this whole for fun match was really for bragging rights? It can really apply in the opposite way too, because as the head of your esports program, making too many mistakes like this is what gets a lot of grief from your students.
Exactly.
You're coaching your students the next day, saying, now this is what here's what I don't like about your lineup is you really need to switch out these 2 cards, and your students mutter under their breath, or at least it wasn't the one who missed lethal.
Exactly. And he doesn't really have a great way to come back. Dragon Bane's going to really slow that down.
Oh my goodness.
He's all worried about, I can't believe that Dragon Bane went face. It's like, my dude. So Felmall goes face, he wins. Felmall doesn't go face, he loses. Felmall doesn't go face.
He's going to still have the Dragon Bane available, so. Oh, wow.
Wait, no.
That hurts.
He has lethal. Unless it's freezing trap, which I don't think it is.
I don't think
it might be, but it could. If he does not freezing trap, he wins.
If he misses lethal twice here,
I will be. Well, how does that interaction work? Would the Felmall have triggered freezing trap?
Yes, it would have.
He did it!
Yay!
It's not missing lethal, it's extended BM.
Okay. That is really lucky for him there. If he would have lost that game because he had missed lethal. Ugh.
We have seen 2 missed lethals tonight, but neither player has been punished for it, which is good or bad, depending. So it's the Randolph-Macon Yellow Jackets coach, Alex Gunnarsson, or director, you could say. He is up 2-1 over Texas A&M San Antonio's Travis Yang. Yang still has Hunter and Paladin available. Gunnarsson has Druid available, if I'm not mistaken.
All right. I really want to see Paladin at least once.
Yeah.
That's my favorite class. I do quite like Pure Paladin. It's just a nice, very powerful mid-range deck. I've always liked playing mid-range decks, so seeing I'm glad that I've seen so much Highlander Hunter, because that's my other favorite deck. But I would hope at least that we see. Now, we really got to think, though, is that since we know, because both of them see each other's lineups, so they have to know he's playing into Druid. Now, Texas A&M knows that Druid is the matchup. Yeah. So does he stick with the Hunter, or does he go over to the mid-range, the Pure Paladin? And what's really interesting is that a good part of how this next match could be decided is going to be based on how they revealed each other's lineups, because sometimes when you're playing matches, you'll say, what's your lineup? And they'll just say Hunter, Druid, and Warlock. Or sometimes they'll say mid-range Hunter, Quest Warlock, and Quest Druid, or something like that. And then you know exactly what archetype it is. So did they just say the classes for the lineup, or did they specifically say what types of decks they were?
Yeah, I would never volunteer more information as necessary. I mean, I might be like, hey, it's Quest Druid, and then you're like, oh, but it's actually Aggro Druid, haha. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's probably a little bit frowned upon. Yeah, let me do it. A little bit unsportsmanlike there. But yeah, I'll be really interested to see if we do see the Pure Paladin come out for Texas A&M San Antonio. Strongest overall deck in public lobbies, I guess is probably the best way to put it. Ladder play is the word I was looking for, which those decks have not always been strong tournament decks. I mean, you think back to Grim Patron Warrior, that was just dominating people on ladder. Wasn't really great into tournaments because you could say, I already know how to, I'm just going to counter Grim Patron Warrior. And here we go. It's the Pure Paladin versus the Druid. This is the matchup we wanted to see.
Alrighty, well,
I will say, we're speculating it's Pure Paladin. We don't actually have confirmation that's Pure Paladin. Just so, you know, I don't want to...
Well, I'm not seeing any neutrals in that opening mulligan, so...
There's a Murloc.
Yeah. Murgle. Well, any opening mulligan where you get to see Murgle is a win in my book in the end of the day. Great card. You know, just been used just on the basis of its strength, not even necessarily in Murloc decks. Problem here is that what he really wants is he wants to have his cost reduction for his Librams.
Yep.
He wants to have that 1 mana to be able to reduce it. And, it is not a good one. You might have wanted to at least hang on to 1/2 mana. I mean, it's not as good as the 1 mana, but at least you have something to play. He has absolutely nothing to play.
I don't know why he mulliganed away his 2/1 for the Druid player.
I don't know. Okay, he is Braggart, though. Now, Braggart can be a very powerful card, but just playing it down and just making it be a 1/1 isn't that good. But Braggart it can be so good, you know, if your opponent is just building up way too big of a body, then Braggart can really equalize the match. Now, the good thing is that he does have his Consecration.
Yep.
And so that makes it a bit harder for this Druid to set up the board.
I don't know what he's so scared of.
I mean, probably the Consecration. He doesn't want to.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you just go wide, you know? Why would you not just play your 2/1/2s last turn and start buffing them?
Yeah, or at least try to bait it out so you know he doesn't have it again. There he goes. He finally finds it. He starts the discount on his Librams. Has his 2 Librams of Hope in the hand there. So it's a bit tricky because Token Druid can really be an OTK deck in the right circumstances, and Libram of Hope is really good in the fact that if it's a deck where you're already if it's a match where you're already whittled down on health and you need to extend the match into those later turns, it's really good. But if you're going up against a deck that can get you down in 1 turn regardless of if you have low health or not, then it's not quite as good. Oh, this is
turn 5 for Paladin, and you play 4 2-health cards.
This is a Consecration play if I have ever seen it.
Wow!
And here we go, up and
he has no reload.
Yeah,
he has 2/2/2 Trents that he can summon.
Spent it all.
He spent all of his minions to die. Now, yes, if he Power of the Wilds, they all die anyway to the minions, but he clears the board. Now he has no reload, and he's letting the Paladin finally hit those 8, 9, 10 turns where a lot of his cards come online. He has the tree enforcements, and that's about it.
Yeah, this is his reload here for the tree enforcements. Okay, if Texas A&M draws their other okay, they're not going to. I would have said they had drawn their other Consecration. Outdoor Truth Seeker, really great. Gets that taunt on the board, prevents that burst damage from the tokens coming through. Lowers the cost of the Librams even more, so now his Librams of Hope are only down to 6 mana, which that's really good.
Yeah.
And the good thing is that this deck, Pure Paladin, has so many taunts on the board, so it's really good at buying you those turns. Like, even though some of his tokens stuck here for Token Druid, because of that taunt from the Truth Seeker, he is going to at least be able to answer it and then put down even more taunts next turn.
Fortunately, he doesn't have a great trade unless he Savage Roars.
He's throwing everything down here. This is it.
It's just not a smooth trade. You still lose both your trees. Or I guess your 1 tree enforcement's at a 5/1. The other one's dead. But, I mean, you go wide. You set yourself up for the huge Savage Roar next turn.
He could.
It doesn't trade well.
Oh, does he draw? Okay, no, he doesn't.
Let's say it doesn't trade well. That's the only thing I didn't like. He's setting himself up for tons of damage.
Well, he gets the free Libram of Wisdom he can play. He's going to take down one of those 5/5s. So he can chip a little bit away at the board here. Now, he might just use Libram of Hope here just for the taunt.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, heals up his existing taunt, gets another on board, and now even with the buff here, he's going to have to throw everything.
Yeah, he's not. There's no way he has it now, unfortunately. I mean, you can...
He can get over... Oh, that hurts.
Yeah.
Using your hero power in that way just to get the Divine Shield and take 8 damage isn't fun.
I mean, the Paladin's not going to have much burst, so you can gladly trade 8 health. Nothing's going to trade well if you...
Oh, he's using
we
his
can't-
Savage
Wasting
Roar.
Savage Roar feels so bad, but he has to do it. But he wasted the attack from his face as well to push 11 damage on face. That's not too bad. He'll be really excited until next turn.
Yes.
He's like, hey, we're doing good. Another Savage Roar, maybe we win.
Look at my board. There's a reason that the flavor text for Libram of Hope refers to it as Libram of Nope. Because it's just the ultimate thing that you throw down. That was a lot of nice damage that you just laid down here. Let's see you do it again. And you see his reaction.
He's
there.
like,
He
all
just
right.
threw his head up. Threw his head up there. He knows he can't necessarily get through this now.
Yeah, not a whole lot left in his hand, unfortunately. He'll even make it a 9-9 just for kicks and giggles. Oh, and by the way, should the Druid by some miracle destroy that, Lady Leandri's just sitting in the hand for 2 more Librams of Hope.
That is true. That's one of the great things is not only does Pure Paladin have the great cards in the middle that can really swing the game, but it has those late game cards like Lady Liadrin that can completely reload your hand, can get you more Librams. You also have the Lightforged Crusader. That's the other one up there with Liadrin. That's just great reload and can really sustain you, keep making sure you don't run out of resources.
We'll throw down the Libram of Justice just to get lethal. I would have thrown down Lady Leandrin first just to personally be like, hey, I want you to know that there were 2 more 8/8s coming your way. So now we have another Game 5, which it really is fun to see that we've had both series tonight go to Game 5. So it'll be Token Druid versus Highlander Hunter, and Gem Mountain, your early favorite here before we see the hands between the 2 decks.
I think Token Druid would probably be a bit more favored in this matchup. The way that the Paladin was able to sustain itself was with those 2 Librams of Hope.
Yeah.
It all comes down to controlling the board in this match. If this Highlander Hunter does not have anything to deal with an early board and the big wide boards that the Token Druid is going to make, then they're going to run into problems here. Hunter does not have healing in the way that Paladin does. So,
I mean, what cards does he have to deal with? He's got potentially Explosive Trap, which will only do so much. Pressure Plate, Freezing Trap.
I mean, really think about it. A lot of Hunter's removal cards are single minion removal cards. The only thing they have in mass removal is the Explosive Trap, and it does do the same amount of damage as the Consecration, but you can decide when Consecration runs off. Your opponent can play around Explosive Trap, so this is a much more favorable matchup for the Token Druid.
He did get the Bone Chewer, though, so he is going to be able to get down that 2/3, which will be a little bit annoying to deal with.
And starting off with the Battle Mages, pretty standard for 1. He does get 2 Infestations now, so now he can really go with the buff game here.
Yeah, it's absolutely... I'd probably buff the 1/1 there, but it's all good. I would probably buff the 1/1 and just trade it off your Battle Mage.
And this is already asking so much of the Hunter. He already has 4 minions on the board, and he's only got 2 mana to deal with it. Now, that's not the worst thing to do. He manages to even up the board here. The thing is that with that other Adorable Infestation, he can buff one of his minions to get a more favorable trade here and still keep good control of the board.
You probably just buff the 3/1, get it out of range of any sort of 1 damage chip attack. And then you look at the Hunter's hand, and it's not good for dealing with. I mean, explosive traps in the hand, it's great. Bone Chewer Orc, yeah, that'll help. Prison Felma, meh. Lore Keeper, no, not at all.
The one thing to keep in mind for the Token Druid, though, is the fact that they don't have any minions in their hand now. All they have are the 1/1s that were generated from the infestation. But other than that, they don't have anything to reload. So the Hunter can at least place down the taunt, force him to go through that. Now that weapon is a great draw. That weapon is going to allow him to instantly clear and deal with this board, and now throw down some secrets that's going to buy him even more time. That was probably one of the best draws he could have gotten.
Yeah, now, and he probably have to assume that's explosive trap. Tree Reinforcements does counter it, though.
He knows, too.
No, don't attack. No.
Well, he has Tree Reinforcements, so he knows he can reload here, so he's going to spend the explosive trap now.
That's fair. I guess I would have preferred to Tree Reinforcements all of them as opposed to letting them die, but I do understand the route, the play.
But the thing is, the great thing about this weapon is that he can attack with it again and get maybe another explosive trap. And because the only extender or the real finisher he have is the Savage Roar, that only buffs attack. It doesn't buff health. So if he gets another explosive trap, he might have been. I think he's sitting pretty here.
Yeah, good thing for the Druid is he can trigger the explosive traps through his hero power, so he can sort of force clear them.
Misdirection isn't bad. It isn't the worst.
Knife's not bad for dealing with the 1/1 spell burst. Not great, but it does sort of take care of it. He's just going to throw down everything. Biggest card all face. And now this poor Druid has a 1/1.
Yep, he's got all his finishers. He doesn't have too much to play other than the Tree Reinforcements.
Yeah, that's the problem with Token Druid, especially in its current iteration, its past iteration as well, is if you miss your line, and it's a pretty broad line in terms of what you need, but if you miss your line, you just lose. There's no reload in that deck. You're just kind of hoping you can brute force down your opponent. He takes the misdirect. He's like, what? And it'll kill it because of the Savage Roar as well.
Ah, that's lovely.
The Hunter comes back. That weapon, I think, was huge, as you mentioned, Jim. I think that Hunter was on a one-way path to losing until that weapon got drawn and he hit Explosive Trap.
Why was Odd Rogue so good against, aggro decks? It's because you always had the weapon available to you to deal with the board.
Yep. You use your health as a resource, and
But there's something great inside.
that was the thing I loved about Odd Rogue, and I understand why people hate it, is you could be an aggro deck, or I was like, hey, I could just control the board with my weapon and slowly whittle you down with my minions and then kill you with Leroy Jenkins.
Now he's being forced to use his Blessings of Ancients here.
He's got to just go all face and hope he draws Savage Roar. It's probably his only out. You need like Felma, face, Savage Roar, and even then that doesn't get you anywhere close to what you need to be at.
I don't know. His opponent could close his eyes and go all face here, and then he draws another Savage Roar.
Biggest minion all face. That's what it's all about, Jim Mountain. I don't think he's gonna do that though.
And now that's basically win more.
Yeah, both those cards are just. He's never gonna go. I bet that Pack Tactics never gets popped unless he uses the hero power on the 5/1.
I don't think he has Swipe in his deck.
Be a great card. This would be the time to use it if he had it. Another buff card.
He's just going to have to summon a lonely little panther.
No. It's not worth it, sir. It's like, yep.
Oh.
Yep.
We've all been there.
You'll find me wherever the action is.
Ooh, so this is, by the way, as we see the Hunter wrap things up here. So congratulations to Travis Yang and Texas A&M San Antonio for their championship in the Hearthstone All-Stars event with Nace. We are going to have one last event gym out. We're going to have the third place game. Bring one deck wild and just go for it.
Wild format.
Wild one deck. So no bans. It's just build your best wild deck and let's see you on the battlefield.
Alrighty. So wild is pretty interesting. You have all the Death Knights still available.
There's a lot of cards available. All the Death Knights, odd and even.
That's right. You have
all
that.
the old
How
guns.
could I have forgotten that? The whole concept that got rotated out of standard
Yeah, no, there's a
1
ton.
year too early because it was too warping to the format.
So what? I mean,
Odd Pally?
Odd Demon Hunter. Isn't Odd Demon Hunter just insane?
It is pretty good.
It's like a one-man, literally Hunter hero power, but it's one mana. So it's going to be ECPI, who we did not see, and Jamestown. Our third place game, best of one, wild deck. Bring one deck and go for it. I'm thinking it's probably Odd Demon Hunter and maybe Odd Paladin.
That would be
Just rush each other down.
Yes, let's just go for that. You know, our director Doc Haskell is an unashamed Odd Pally player. He went so he completely jumped into the deep end of the pool when it came to Odd Pally, and unfortunately, I mean, good for the game, but unfortunately for him, Baku had to say goodbye, and that was the end of that. But will continue to terrorize wild meta in what was so... I remember, I don't know if you remember, but remember when they first revealed Witchwood and everyone was like, oh, you know, Baku and Gen, you know, it's an interesting concept. I just don't think it's going to be powerful enough to be that big a force in the meta. I mean, really, you know, it restricts... You basically only have half the cards to build your deck. I mean, are these really going to be powerful cards?
I was a big fan of always doing like the meme builds, like, you know, even Rogue, even Hunter.
Yeah.
Those were the fun ones, not the odd Pally and the odd Rogues. But can we make even Hunter work? Can I somehow find a way to work my hero power in every single turn?
I mean, we always talk about Odd Paladin, but Odd Warrior wasn't the cakewalk either.
Yeah, I remember the days of you like, oh, that's an Odd Warrior. How fast can I hit the forfeit button? Because I don't want to deal with this anymore.
Honestly, if there was any deck where by just playing it, there would be people. I remember there was someone who made a deck that was specifically meant to counter Odd Warrior, and it didn't win against any other deck, but it was played, and people played it just so that they could torture people who decided to play Odd Warrior.
There was a deck. I mean, there's been like decks like that forever, but there was a deck like that for Pirate Warrior, where you would just play full grind them down Control Warrior, and people would sit at like rank 5 floors and Legend floors and just absolutely hammer any poor soul who was trying to climb as Pirate Warrior. And then they're like, "Oh, Mage, yeah, you free win. Congratulations."
Alrighty, we'll see. I see Paladin and Priest. This could get ugly here. I'm only seeing odd cards there. Are we seeing Odd Paladin come back?
I think so. Yep.
Oh, we are Odd Paladin. Oh no.
Versus
Quest Priest.
Odd Paladin versus N'Zoth Quest Priest. So basically,
with Anduin thrown in for good measure.
Yeah, basically, if the Priest finds 7 Death Rattles, Dylan Kiefer from Jamestown will win. If he does not, the ECPI head director will just destroy him with the Odd Paladin.
You know, we're talking about, you know, the balance between aggro and control, but these two decks really take that up to an absurd level. They are the living embodiment of what aggro and control is.
Unfortunately for our Priest player, he has no Death Rattles in his hand. Also, why does he have a lease? He knows he's dead. He's like, well, we tried. I mean, he would have been... I mean, the problem with Wild format is I really think everyone should get all of the cards. Unfortunately, that coin gets turned into a zap, which is probably a little bit of a benefit. I know he wanted the Elise out. The problem with the Wild format is, you know, people like myself, I'll disenchant Wild cards because I know I'm never going to play this format. So you probably didn't need a lease in there, but he probably said, "Oh, I don't have enough of the Quest Priest cards."
Righteous cause. That's anything but a righteous cause when put into Odd Pally.
Look at all those
This
one
is
ones.
absurd. Look at this.
The bright side for the Priest player, he has minion capped himself at 7.
He doesn't have anything to play. This is torturous to watch.
He has a lease. Blessing of Might.
I mean, he could.
JJ Myers from ECPI. He's got a pretty laborious game. He's got to drag 7 different 1/1s to the face every single turn.
Well, now with Divine Favor, that's the one. Is he going to find his buff here?
Nope.
Mind if I roll?
There's one death rattle. I don't think it's going to be enough. Unfortunately.
So not only are you a little bit tilted over your loss for the final match, but you go into the 3rd place match and lose to Odd Paladin.
Yeah. I mean, it's just no fun.
This is absurd. Basically, this Odd Paladin has won the game by just pressing the hero button. That's basically
He's got mass hysteria.
Okay, here we go. Mass hysteria. Is that gonna? I don't think the 5/5's gonna go down. No.
No, he needed the 7/1 too. He lives for he doesn't. He has muster for battle.
Well, hey,
for battle.
you know, left click to win, Odd Paladin.
Wow, I wonder why Baku and Gen didn't last an entire rotation.
Oh my goodness, this was
Hey, look at that.
mistake. Now, just for your phone, he's not saying a mistake in the case that I did anything wrong here. He's saying Odd Paladin, or just odd and even, was a mistake, period.
Exactly. So big congratulations to Coach JJ, ECPI, on their 3rd place.
That was some real impressive button pressing skills on
no
display
one's going to
there.
respect him because he did queue up Odd Paladin, but he won. Doc respect. Doc is the
will
only
respect him for
living
playing
human
Odd
being
Pally.
for respects him for playing Odd Paladin. No one else. I mean, like, I get looks when they're like, "Oh, what deck did you like to play?" I like Odd Rogue. People are like, "Really? That guy?" I mean, if I said I liked Odd Paladin, I mean, like, what? Probably Odd Paladin, Pirate Warrior, Grim Patron Warrior. I mean, even Grim Patron Warrior at least took skill.
I mean,
Pirate Warrior's not the only other deck where you're like, you're a degenerate.
Odd Paladin is like the GOATS format, is like the GOATS meta of Hearthstone. You know, it's like when you complain in Overwatch, people will say, well, at least it's not GOATS meta anymore, you know. And for Hearthstone, at least it's not Odd Paladin anymore, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think there were some at least counters to Odd Paladin.
There were.
There were some better than GOATs. I mean, at least it wasn't Death Rattle Hunter in Nex, is probably what people will always say. At least it wasn't Bring Out Your Dead Hunter. But that's going to wrap things up here, so big congratulations to Texas A&M San Antonio. They are the champions of the Hearthstone All-Star event. We're going to have a lot more of these NACE All-Star events coming up in the coming weeks as they help support Gamers versus Cancer. And we've talked about you can donate anytime. We'll have our leaderboard that will show throughout the stream. But that's going to wrap things up here for Gem Mountain, for our skeleton production crew that's making it all happen, for the 4 directors we saw participating tonight. It's been a blast. Especially a big shout out to Wasey for winning the Madden game that we saw earlier, and a thank you to Chase Baker once again for joining me for that. But that's going to do it for now. We'll have more action coming up later this week, but until then, have a great evening.